All right, and we are live. We're live. What's going on, everybody? We are back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We got Sun Goddess Astrology with us. We're so glad to have Chris. We're
What's up,
gonna
y'all?
be going over part two of my job. I mean, part two of my job. Okay, yeah, that's real good. I'm thinking about work. I was going to ask you something about that. So, part two of the astrology chart. How you feeling, Chris?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Coming off a high from the last one. I definitely want to clarify some things before we get into the nitty gritty of this one.
Okay, okay. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get started. Um, right now we're gonna. You see you streaming? We good to go?
Oh
On
yeah, I'm
your
good.
end?
I'm good on my
That's
side. It
what's
popped
up.
in.
That's what's up. Come on.
We got it now. It's lit now.
Yes. Okay. So y'all, if you have some questions or something, we're gonna kind of hold that back just a tiny bit, because we're gonna go over some things and she's gonna do some clarification. I think it's gonna be great. Okay. All right, Chris, I'm gonna let you have the table, the chair, the mic, the bullhorn, all of that. Okay.
Okay. So I know I wanted to finish off on a couple questions that you had from the last session,
Okay.
and then I know we're gonna move on to comparison of when you and someone has the same sun and moon planet,
Okay.
just a different house, basically. See how the energy will manifest for different people.
Same energy, different people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people say, "Oh yeah, well you're a Capricorn." I'm not. I don't do that. You can see how you can be born in the same season and they just be totally different.
Okay. 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 Let's see.
Let me bring yours up so I can have it ready in the back.
Okay. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's beautiful.
Book your first cleaning today for only $19. I felt like I
Oh, for
hated.
real?
Oh no, oh no, not cleaning lady.
That's the other channel, so I can see it over here. Oh my God, that is crazy. But hope everybody we started a little bit earlier because we know, it's like the night before work night, but we know y'all do what you want to do when you want to do it, etc. So that shouldn't really be no big deal. But we wanted to start a little bit earlier today instead of doing it instead of doing it a little bit later. Yeah, the cleanup later. That shit was funny. I don't know how I just did that. I should have known that volume was on. All right. So she's just bringing some things up and everything. Thanks everybody for coming in. Um, I'm excited about. We are going to have a part 3 and possibly a part 4, which we already kind of knew that. Today is going to be a recap, and then she's going to finish up on some questions that I may have had, and I'm going to try to get some of the questions that you guys had from the last time. So yeah.
All right, so you want to start with your question that you had left over. Did you want me to go ahead and put your chart on the screen and
Yeah.
then hold on. So anybody that's watching and wants to follow along with their own chart, you can go ahead and look at astroseek.com. Bring that up. Go ahead and look where it says at the top left-hand corner is free horoscopes. You're going to click on birth chart calculator and enter your information as best as you possibly can. If you don't have your birth time, I recommend putting 12 noon. It won't be precise because obviously you need your birth time, but it's a starting point. You know your sun sign will be correct, right? Because you do know the day you were born. I hope it's the correct thing. Then we'll go from there. Also, I made note of completely forgetting to let you guys know exactly where I'm getting some of these keywords from. And also just the natural house of the zodiac wheel. Even though I described it as saying the first house starts in Aries, I'm going to bring up a chart just so you can see how it goes, the elements and the modalities. Just so you can follow along a little bit better.
And just just curious, when you say elements and modalities, is that where you have what are those? What are elements and modalities? People that may not know. People
So
that
your
might
elements, we know that's as far as your air, water, fire, earth. That's your elements. And modality is like cardinal, fixed, and mutable.
cardinal
So we
fixed and
know, yeah, we know our cardinals, they initiate. Our mutables are the ones that are changeable and adaptable, and then fixed signs are very rigid. Not that they're incapable of change, but they're very resistant to change.
okay. And all charts have those, right?
Yes, everybody, everybody.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna show you right now. All right, you should be seeing you see the tab, right? With
Mm-hmm.
the okay, did it pop up on the screen?
So it is there. Let me click on it and add it.
Okay, make sure that can be seen.
All right. So there we go.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to make sure everybody can see it.
Okay. Everybody in the chat, can you see the chart like we can see it? Just check.
Okay, they can say, okay, cool. All
Okay.
right, so that's your chart. So we know Gemini is an air sign. We know an air sign is a sign that we know. Oh, sorry, air is an element, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that sign is used to communicate. It is also considered a mutable because it's very changeable. Our communication changes, the way that we learn changes, the way that we think changes. That's the basis for Gemini. So that's the element, the modality, and the house of the self, which is the first house. What are some of the questions you have for your chart, Boujee?
Okay. So one thing that I wanted to know was that let's see. Uh, so you know how say for example we're talking about Jupiter, Mars, Venus,
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius, those different houses, right? Those are houses themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do they ever change over a period of time? Say, for example, we did this chart, so we're going to say it's 2024. Does those houses ever change from period of time, like month to month,
Oh
week?
yeah, they can.
Okay.
So, but they correspond with the planet that will be changing in that frequency. So the only thing that's changing in a month's time is the moon, because the
Okay.
moon is moving every 2 to 3 days. That's the only thing in the 30-day
Okay.
span. It's just gonna keep going. And there is a chart. It's called your lunar return, which
Okay.
is when your moon sign goes back all the way around back to the same degree and sign you were born with. So yours is in the fourth house. So every time the moon gets in Virgo and it gets to the 22nd degree, that's your lunar return, which means the next 30 days you're starting a new emotional cycle. I use the word emotional because we're talking about your moon. That's what the moon rules. It's an emotional, like an emotional gestation, basically.
Moon rules the emotions.
Yeah, like an emotional temperament. Hmm.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's what you will be following if you wanted to follow your chart every 30 days. And
Okay.
there's a calculator built in the same system on astroseek.com, where, again, if anybody's on Google, you put astroseek.com and you can put next to it lunar return chart. You know, lunar is another word for the moon. So
Okay.
that'll pop up. You do the same thing like you did with the birth chart. You enter your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth. It's not going to bring up your birth chart.
Okay.
It's going to have two columns. One column is the lunar return, which is every single day of each month. The moon goes back into the natal resting place of your birth moon. So that's the fourth house, Virgo, at 22 degrees. It's going to have each month all the way down,
Okay.
whatever year you choose. So this year will be 2024. So you will have 13 moons.
Wow.
Yeah, because we usually have two moons in January, sometimes three. It depends.
Okay. I see. So for that reason. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, when they is there anything about, for example, my chart, as you look at it, that
Mhm.
tells me, okay, we talked about March coming up. So
Mhm.
is there something that correlates that is the same every month in my chart, no matter what? Is there anything like that in our charts? Something I should.
Besides, I'm sorry. Besides the moon,
Uh huh.
no, not unless it's just a planet that doesn't move a lot. So, if you want to see change around the chart, it'll be going to return, right? Each planet has a time when it moves. The sun takes a year to move. Venus also takes a year to move if it doesn't go into any retrogrades. It'll take
Mm-hmm.
about a year. Mars takes 2 years. So once you go out of those gestation periods, we have Jupiter going around every 12 years. If
Okay.
you go out of that, you know that they're gonna okay, well, this not is gonna move anywhere until 12 years, or this is not gonna move anywhere until 2 years, and this is not gonna move here for this. Your north node never moves, but we do have transit nodes. We call them the lunar nodes,
Okay.
and that's basically just to assist you further with any type of karmic relief or karmic debt that needs to be, repaid in this life to more align you more to where you need to be.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you about that right there because that's
Mhm.
something that I feel like um, for some of us who know about karma and how it
Mhm.
affects people based on emotion, feelings, mourning, etc. Now, when you talk about it from the standpoint of the chart, how does the karma? How can we tell if we're in a space where okay, this could be tied to? So, okay, would that be in a space where something could be tied to a contract or no?
If that's something that you follow, then yeah, because not everybody thinks it's tied to anything else. But
Okay.
you would say, okay, so I'm going to use your chart as an example. You have your north node, right, in your
Okay.
first house.
Okay.
So that lets me know, we know north node is the point of destiny, that's fortune, that's where you're headed in life, right?
Okay.
That's like all of the best qualities that you could possibly have to maximize like your soul's urgency, which is wherever your sun is placed. The sun is your soul,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I already know, okay, well, you came into this life to have more qualities related to communication. Why? Because the house is Gemini.
Okay.
You're going to be using a lot of your social interactions, your impressions with people, your sociability, your ability to persuade, your ability to tell a story. And I know you're a good storyteller because you have seventh house in Sagittarius. The house on the seventh, well, the sign on the seventh is your house that you share, the qualities that you like to share.
Okay.
So the seventh house is the house of sharing. Most people will say it's your relationship house.
Okay.
So anybody that's very close to you or you have a very intimate relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, they must possess these qualities
That's
of
true.
Sagittarius.
Because I mean, I would just be simply bored with their ass, and it's like a no for me.
Yeah. And any
That's true.
houses in the houses that are polar, right? When I say polar, I mean like directly across, which is 1 and 7, 2 and 8, 3 and 9, 4 and 10, and 5 and 11, 6 and 12. They pass each other energy whether you have planets there or not. So you have the South Node there. That lets me know South Node is your past life. That lets me know these qualities you've already mastered. This is who you are ingrainedly. So you need them from others, or you share
Which
them freely with
which
others.
one? Which one,
It's
Chris?
in the seventh house. It looks like a horseshoe. It's upside down horseshoe.
Oh, I see. I see. So let
Yeah.
me ask you something real quick. Since you said that about
Mhm.
me, I've mastered these things, but so I would need them from others in order for that to be kind of like a match. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
A solid match and not shaky,
Right.
unstable, etc.
Right.
Okay. So
But
when we're talking about go ahead, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. When you're talking about the nodes, really quick, can you
Mhm.
point to the north? Is it just the north and the south node? Is that all the nodes are?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Is
They call
that
it
the one at the top and the bottom?
well,
Not really. We're not talking about like north,
I'm
south.
like, wait. I'm like, wait. Hold on, nah. That's a doozy there. No, 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 no. Okay,
Okay.
so I've heard. I don't study Vedic astrology, which is another form of astrology on the east. So basically, they look at the north node, which is in your first house, which is the horseshoe. They look
Okay.
at that like the head of the dragon. right? So
Yes.
that's where we're headed. That's where we're growing to. That's what is going to get us the direction that we need in this life that we chose. Because your
Okay.
birth chart is a snapshot of your entire life's journey, literally your entire life
Okay.
in this life, this journey. And
Okay.
so the South Node, which is directly, is always going to be in the polar house, always.
Okay.
Um, and which is the upside down horseshoe. That's the tail end of the dragon.
Okay.
So
I
that
got
shit,
you.
literally shit, right back there where your ass at, that shit you need to let go. So most of the time when we perfect something, it's not always a high octave, right? We
Yeah.
have all of the qualities. So when you hear Sagittarius, you're like, oh man, yeah, they're great storytellers and they're really big on philosophy, but then they also could be that storytelling can be stretched so much because they're ruled by Jupiter. It can be stretched into lying.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't, I'm not going to call them liars, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's kind of how the polarities can play with you, right?
Or even including in people who exaggerate.
Yeah, because they're prone to telling stories. Like, but people say, oh, stories are just good for listening and telling. It makes you feel good, but then sometimes they can go off on another end.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
So
good. You'll say that. I'm sorry to cut you off, cut your wisdom, but the seventh house, you say also, okay, in the past life, because you got the South Node there, Sagittarius. Okay, I know. I like people who are free spirited, right? But you
mhm.
can't be too free spirited where you don't have any type of control or you don't have any type of direction, right?
Okay.
And so that's the other polarity of the South Node. Not just all the good things that you only mastered all the good. You've mastered everything, and you need to release what doesn't serve you. Hold on to the rest.
Okay.
Hold on to the depth of thinking, the philosophy, and all that good shit. You hold on to that, and you combine it with the fact that you are so social, that people love to come and communicate. That
Okay.
communication does very well for you. Not to mention, the ruling planet of your first house is in the same across the way. It's at Mercury. So you enjoy talking in this particular way. You enjoy sharing higher knowledge. You enjoy a form of teaching as well.
Yeah. I
Because
do.
in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is your teacher. And all I have to look for is, okay, so what do you teach? Jupiter is here in your 12th house. So it's 12th house things. It could be maybe you enjoy teaching people about meditation. Maybe you enjoy teaching them about anything that could be hidden. So it could be the unconscious mind. It could be depression, if that's something that people tend to hide.
Hmm.
Things that would be self undoing. It could be drugs. It
Okay.
could be, I want to say prison because it's the 12th house, and 12th house does rule jail.
So let me ask you this one. Okay, well, since you said that 12th house rules jail, and
Mhm.
I heard you say that the other day, and it's about prison. Could that
Yes,
also be interpreted as things that you keep locked away, secrets
yes,
that you don't want people to know
yes,
because a way you may feel about it, the way they
yes.
may feel about you, if they these kinds of things. Is that the same thing, or is
Yeah,
that
absolutely,
could it be interpreted as
absolutely,
that as well? Not some
absolutely.
people, it's
So,
literal because you
yeah,
just a fucking criminal or you did some shit and you got caught,
yeah,
and it also could mean, all right, I'm gonna like get out of the light merely because I'm scared of being in front because maybe when people have been in the light, things have happened, and so now that they've locked themselves away, hermit life. Is that could it be
yeah,
that as well?
yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you had to relate it to a tarot card, the
Yes.
12th house would be Hermit.
I got you.
Hermit
Okay.
card.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. So
yeah.
let me ask you something about in the first house. I'm looking at that. In the
Mhm.
first house, I can see the little thing that looks like a horseshoe upside down with two heads, right?
Yeah, 2 legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, two
Mhm.
legs. Now that is that considered to be I'm looking at my chart too. I'm trying to learn as we go along or whatever.
Yeah.
I know is that like this? Is that like considered that's not your south node, is it? What is that little
No, that's the north.
that is the
North
north.
is,
Okay.
yeah, the north is the actual horseshoe, and then
Okay.
the other side is the south node. So you'll
That's
say
within the seventh
in
house.
this life, yeah, in this life you're going towards that path.
Which path? The seventh house?
First
Okay.
house, because that's north. North is down. It looks like an N,
Yes.
and then south is up,
Okay.
like the open. It's open.
Open. I see. I
So
see. I got you.
open
Kind of like
means you release, basically.
when you do greater than less than,
Yeah,
explode.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. let me ask you this. So I noticed a couple of things that I wanted to ask about. I
Cool.
noticed in my second, third,
Mhm.
and ninth and 11 ain't shit in them, and really look like the fifth. Like something is like barely on the cusp between the fourth and the fifth,
Mhm.
and barely on the cusp between. No, that is something in the ninth.
Yeah.
Why is it some houses have
No, the ninth is
absolutely
empty.
the ninth is empty? Yeah.
Mhm.
So why is it that some houses have absolutely nothing?
Well, what I've read is the houses that you don't have any planets in are like your intuitive houses that you don't really need any assistance
You said
to
that.
do.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
do I know for a fact?
Yeah.
I only know if I can tell you on my chart, but I don't know. I this That's the only explanation that I've been given. But
Okay.
even if it's empty, it is still receiving energy from where the ruler is. So it
Okay.
doesn't mean I get nothing. It just
Okay.
means the energy of that house tends to be a bit more intuitive. So a planet
Okay.
doesn't need, you know, well, you didn't choose a planet to be placed there.
I see.
Right.
Okay. That's very interesting. So, all right, bouncing off of that, when you say you didn't choose a planet to be in that particular house,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
All right. So, would you say that, and I'm just coming more from because of the work that I do
Hmm.
on that, would you say that we choose things to be in our house based on our birth when we decide to come this time, the next time? Do we choose these?
You absolutely choose the time, the day you want to come into this life. And because of that exact day and time and minute, it gives you your birth chart. So
That's
that's
right.
why I was saying last time, there's nothing inherently bad about any chart. You'll get people with the satire and they'll say, "Oh, well, if you have this sign, I feel sorry for you," or don't date Scorpios, or don't date this person, that person. But that's based on their experience. And what they don't realize is we go through every house sign
You said that.
to mature and build those qualities within us. So 9 times out of 10, if you don't have like the best relationship with Scorpios, it's because they probably trigger transformation in you, or trigger you to look at some of your wounds and the fears that you have within. So it kind of like works like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. So in your
That's
chart, you said on the second house, right? There
Mhm.
is no planet there, right? But we know the ruler of Cancer is the moon. We have your moon in the fourth house. Now I would say, okay, well, your moon and Mars is really close together.
Mhm.
I would have to know, and conjunction is a good, that's a good aspect. Now if they weren't touching like that, and they were in another house where it was a red line, I would have said, well, maybe your mom, maybe her communication wasn't all that well.
Mhm.
You'll say to who? I said maybe your boyfriends, because it's creating tension between the home, your personal life. Maybe she never liked your partners, or maybe she was hypercritical of the
That
people
too.
that you hung around.
Okay. I see. I see. Oh wow. This is
And
okay.
as far as it relates to the second house, because the moon is in the fourth, the moon is also your mother again, and your emotional needs. And it
Mhm.
also tells you what your mother was doing
Mhm.
potentially. Let me say potentially, because I don't know everybody, but
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Let's what do
okay.
you see? And I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you. All right.
Okay. Okay, so when I see the moon in the fourth, and I know that its rulers in the second house, so I know that your mother had a lot to do with your self-esteem. And I know that that probably fluctuated a lot for you. Now,
Yes,
the
it is.
moon isn't greatly like your moon is not negatively aspected a lot. It's just one in particular where there's a red line from the moon to Mercury, which is in your seventh house. So that little short red line.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say, okay, I know that there was some tension there, some disruption there
Yeah.
between communication, or the way that you were thinking when it came to your friends or your close relationships. And also, we know committed relationships is the seventh house. That's why I choose to say boyfriend, but maybe it wasn't your boyfriend. Maybe it
Yeah.
was just somebody that you were really close to, and your mother might
Yeah.
have said, "I don't want you talking to them.
Yeah.
I don't really
No,
like
no,
for you."
that's very true. That all that you just said is very true. Our
And
relationship was tumultuous at times. It was up. It was up. It was like this.
yeah,
But she did support me, but sometimes not like I thought she should. Not like I support my son for everything. You know.
people who have their moon in Virgo, because the sign is very analytical, and it pays attention to details. which means they're able to see when something is missed. And just like some, not all, some of the people that I saw with Capricorn moon, there's often a disconnect with the mother. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with they didn't want you. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's just like you know, you have a certain rhythm and it's like a skip in there, and that one little skip, because you notice that one skip is enough to create a further delay, and it just keeps going like that.
Yeah. That's
And
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and then
absolutely true. That
anything
was out
you
my entire.
yeah, yeah. That person is very hypercritical of everything that you do. So it could be perfect.
Yeah.
You could be the first person to do this and the greatest thing to do that, and your
Yeah.
name is on the street and
Yeah.
all that, but it's always I mean, you could have did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say if I was just looking at your chart.
Yeah.
Again, you know, if you were to say no, I say okay. But then I would also ask you, you know, was your father abusive? Did you see any abuse in the house? Only because Mars and the moon are touching. It doesn't have to be that way. You could just say, oh, my mom just kind of talk a little aggressive.
Yeah. No, I would say this. My father was very he played mind games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Played games, mind games. He was abusive to my mother to the extent of like verbal. Um Now she was one of them mothers that didn't take no shit and she'd give you one for your motherfucking money. She will pick some up and split you to the right thing. She was like that, right? Okay. She was not a passive woman. So they did have that banter type thing going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
So yeah, his mouth was reckless.
yeah. And I only say that because the fourth house is your private life. So nobody's gonna know. Like it, and you have a stellium, which is you have a cluster of 3 or more planets in a home.
Okay.
Which you have your Uranus, your Pluto, your Mars, and your Moon. The energy is constantly. It's like this. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant change. It's constant unexpected fluctuations, and you have no choice but to keep adapting because we know Mercury is in that sign, and that is a hold on. I
It's
lost my
okay.
train of thought. Not cardinal, not fixed. It's immutable. Damn.
Okay. So you're talking about in
The fourth house. We're still talking about the fourth house. I'm
yeah,
saying the sign
that's
that's on it, Virgo, is mutable. So it's like mutable. You have to keep adapting to change because things
that's for real.
are
Yeah.
constantly happening in the house.
Yeah. That's why I just never sometimes that's why I misconnect
Yeah,
because shit is constantly going and people can ask me like, how do you fucking do it? Like how do you and we talk about change, say on the job, something's changing. It don't even fucking bother me. You know why? Because every time I'm somewhere, something is always the moving parts are always moving
yeah.
around me in my life, period. Yeah. So okay, cool. Okay. So I think that's all I got for right now at this moment.
That's true.
Okay. Oh yeah, the one that I was asking earlier, a little bit earlier.
Oh yes.
What is the difference, for example, between a uh, Virgo moon and a Virgo moon rising? Can you let people know that? Because I saw that today when I was looking up some.
Okay. Okay, so a Virgo moon, I would just say the Virgo moon is your moon that you have in the fourth house. That just means the moon that day when you were born, that's where the moon was for that particular hour. That's where it was.
Okay.
Now, somebody who has Virgo moon, Virgo rising, that means their moon is going to be inside of their first house. I already know that because that's the only way. If you're already a Virgo rising, it has to be in that house because the rising is only the first house ever. So I know they're gonna have their moon and rising in the first house. So that basically just means they emotionally react to certain things. So they would take on the same type of qualities that any Virgo moon would take on. So
I
they would
see.
be very analytical. They would be very detailed. They could be very hypercritical, whether with themselves or with others. They're still gonna have that disconnect with the mother, except it's not gonna play into the same energy. They're actually going to put it into maybe the way that they dress. They may change their hair, get in an
Hmm.
argument with their mom, storm out. Now they go get a tattoo, they go get a piercing. Whatever it is they're going through emotionally is going to affect the body. Their body may also fluctuate from
Okay.
weight, stress, from strain, all the things that the moon will take on. And like you know, water, whether it's with new moons or full moon, the waves are either pulling in or they're rushing out. It's just constant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about, for example, you talked about my mom. Where in
Mhm.
here can I see about my son? Is there anything in my chart that I can see about my
Well,
son?
well,
or we would like to have to do
The
his chart.
fifth house is your children.
Okay. So if nothing is there, that's just something that I work with and do with
We
intentionally.
go to the ruler. We go to the ruler. So the ruler is Venus for Libra. And then it's said that your child takes on those qualities. So if you have one child, it'll be the fifth house. If you have a second child, it will be the seventh house. If you had a third child, they will take on the qualities of the ninth house. And if you have a fourth child, they'll take on the qualities of the 11th. And I'm assuming they just keep on going on.
Skipping every other. Okay.
Yeah, every other.
Okay. I got it.
Sometimes they have a placement there. Sometimes they just exhibit the qualities. I don't have any kids, so I never tested it. I've never tested any kids' chart, so I don't want to lie to you. But if we're just going off of the ruler and the placement, I know the placement will be your son probably has those type of qualities. What does he do for a living?
He is he does I guess you want to say like he works with social media for companies.
Okay.
And he is but his discipline from college was English. He's a writer.
Okay.
That's what he enjoys doing, etc. So yeah, he helps people. Okay, he finds solutions to problems. Maybe that's what I want to say.
Okay, so he's an innovative thinker. Okay, so
Correct. Yeah.
I would say he has the seventh house qualities of the Sagittarius.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely does that. I would say yes to that. He knows more about shit than I do, and I consider myself to be tech savvy, but he is like over the top with it. So yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he can switch and change and move with all moving parts as well.
Yeah.
With technology.
Yeah. So yeah, if we want to know anything about your kids, it would be the fifth house. That is the house that rules kids.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we maybe one more. So let's talk about business wise, career, etc. If I wanted to, based around things around based around like career movement and changing or knowing if this is a good place, this is where I would stay, would I move, etc. What house would I look in for career and business and movement and what would be good or etc. or not? Not necessarily what would be good, but I guess what rules career or work.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring it back up there. I'm gonna close it out.
Okay.
Okay, so that you do every single day. We'll go ahead and look at your sixth house. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Make sure that's yours. That's yours or okay, that's yours. Okay, go ahead. You can bring it back.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we were looking at careers or jobs, things that you do every day, like a 9 to 5. We're gonna look at the sixth house.
Okay.
And what I'm looking at, the first thing I'm looking at their modality, which is fixed. A lot of the jobs that you probably do, you probably end up working for them for a long time. Whatever the job position is, it's probably something that you do behind the scenes. Some type of it could be investigative work.
Mm-hmm.
And investigative doesn't mean police, cop, or PI, right? It could be for any type of. It could be even HR.
Research as well, that type of stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Research is more the 12th house, but 6 and the 12th are polar houses, remember? So they give energy to both.
Okay. So let's say hypothetically, I don't want to work for nobody else. I just want to do my own shit. Okay. So is that the same area type? Is that the same? Would that be the same space?
No, I would look at the 10th house.
Which one?
The 10th house.
The 10th house.
Top, yeah, your Pisces house. So that's something that you can build because you also have Saturn there. Your 10th house is like your public image and that's your career. That's something that is at the pinnacle of your chart, the highest point of your chart that you would do well in. It's in Pisces. We know Pisces is inherently spiritual, right? Mm-hmm. But again, it's ruled by Neptune. It doesn't quite have to be spirituality, right? So, or maybe use spirituality as a twist because you could do anything creative. So you could say, you know what? I don't want to do tarot. I would like to do music, and music is very spiritual, right? And that's the part of Pisces as well. Or you say, you know what? I want to do something when it comes to water. And that's any type of healing that relates to water. Or you can even do something with massaging feet, maybe reflexology. Mm-hmm. And I'm only saying feet because Pisces rules the feet.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
I see. So anything in the just doing research on it, anything around that, which of course I do that now, but it's not like I do it every day for work. You know what I mean? But it just tends to tell me that if I open that up, it would be good for me.
Yeah, it would be good because wherever you have Jupiter is said to be a place where you are a guru, right? These are things that you knew from another life that you brought over. These are
Oh,
things that
really?
yeah.
So that would be in the 12th house, right?
Wherever we have Jupiter is a tend to be like where we know very well already. And so that's the 12th house, like you said, you have. And so again, that's something that you do anyway. So
Wow.
you do introduce meditation to people. You do discuss their unconscious patterns. You do let them know about, hey, there's Christ consciousness. These are things that you can do. And people see you as your 10th house sign, right? Your
Yeah,
10th house Pisces, people see you spiritually. They see you very mystical. They see you like water, very whimsical, that you're ever changing, you're flowing, you're moving. Like they see you as your 10th house. Your 10th house is how people see everybody.
I
So no
see.
matter what sign it's in, that's how everybody's viewing you. And that's more than likely how you curated your image.
I see.
So if
Okay.
you see, okay, well, every sign before the next house is what helps you build that house, right?
Okay.
So if you have the ninth house, you have Uranus. I mean, not Uranus. Sorry, Aquarius, which is the water waves,
Mm-hmm.
and we know the ruler of Aquarius. I mean, I keep saying Aquarius. The ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, which is innovative. It's a free thinker. It needs something to be out of the box. So we know that this, what you're doing now, whether it's here, it's TikTok, it's Instagram, this is something that most people don't do, and this is fairly new. This required you to step into society and do something new, be a trailblazer. Because I'm sure when back in whatever time you were in college or whatever, they weren't doing this, not in the magnitude that you're doing.
I see.
It
I see.
required you to be innovative and just so you can build your 10th house.
I
Because
see.
the people that I know who used to do tarot, like if you didn't have their number from somebody that they knew personally and they referred you, like you couldn't get a reading. And it definitely wasn't no, oh, I saw a video. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was like they had to check you out, they had to see you first, they had to feel your energy. Like times have changed. But just
Yeah.
say for instance, if you were not moving with the change, you would not be your 10th house. Now that doesn't mean that you wouldn't have that mystical feel to you, but it wouldn't be as strong as it is.
Okay.
Because the other side of Neptune that rules Pisces is delusion. People would have thought that you were batshit crazy because those are the polarities, right? Those are
Right.
the
Right.
high and the low, right? So you took the very mystical, the height that people really can't figure out. Like, damn, what the fuck is going on? What she got going on? They never can get it.
I see.
It's like in the lower, right? Which is good. That's what you want. Or if you never took the time to perfect it and hone the skills from the sign before, you wouldn't be that. They'd only see you as, oh, she's crazy. I don't know what she's talking about, who she's talking to. It
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be like that.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. And that also could be anything that could relate to intuitive type things as well.
Yeah.
Like how stuff just comes to you and you just like, I don't know how I knew that, but such and such and such. And this was I'm talking about before I even did this when I was young. I used to do that, and I didn't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So that would have to have connected from when I did it in past lives. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, that's what your soul chose to do in this life. Again, when you come in here, a specific day and time, you are choosing your birth chart. You're choosing everything. That's why it could seem hard or it could seem a little like you got to work through certain things. Like I
Yeah,
discussed the way Neptune is in my chart. Like that's the inherently like low octave of the sign, but I've learned how to make it work for me in other areas.
I see. I got you. Okay, I think that's it right now for any questions that I may have. And I guess we can kind of keep moving with what you got planned for us.
Okay. Yeah, I wanna so today I am gonna briefly talk about how we can have the same sun sign and moon sign as somebody, of course, a different rising, and we can just see how that energy manifests differently. So when you hear people say they have the same sun sign as you, and you're like, I don't act nothing like them. Of course, you're not gonna act like them because you don't emotionally express like them, you don't love like them, you don't assert yourself like them. Like all of those things are. different, I guarantee. Unless
Okay.
you're a twin, and then their charts are pretty much similar, or maybe like 1 or 2 degrees off, but theirs is like exact.
Okay. Real quick before you do that.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of questions. Okay, let's just hit them real quick.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
so Tanya's asking a shit ton of questions. You know how Tanya be, but she be on it, baby. She go, baby. Ooh. All right, T, we finna get to you. Give me a second. Okay, so one of her questions was, she said, it's like using your chart as a guide to connect to your path you mapped out for yourself. So that would
Yeah.
be true, right?
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct. It's a map that you literally chose for yourself. So no obstacle is too hard. Nothing is too complicated or complex. Once you figure it out and know where to begin and where to start, which is why I said it's always good to start in the first house. The first house is your personality. You
Okay.
know your personality. Like you know how you are. You know who you would mask. Your first house is the mask that you put onto. You
Right.
know who you put out into the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your fourth house is your home. If you don't know your chart, at least know your moon sign, because at least you know the relationship. You should know that, unless your mother passed when you were really young.
Mm-hmm.
You should know the relationship that you have with your mother, or the energy that you got from her, to at least say, okay, well, I know this to be true about our relationship. Even if you didn't know how she was when she was pregnant, because
Yeah.
anybody like me, I have older parents, so
Mm-hmm.
like, by the time I came around, I was like, girl, I don't know what she was doing. She was in her whole second life. She was in her second life. So, if you have those things, then cool. And then, of course, we know your sun sign.
Okay.
That's just what your soul wants you to actualize to the benefit of you. Your soul is like your ego, your identity, and that can constantly transform and change. So the
Okay.
high side and the low side.
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All
Yeah.
right. So she said, does that cycle count for only children that come through? So
No. Mm-mm.
no. Okay. So then
If you know you were pregnant, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
technically counted as a child. It is. It is. It is, because as you get further into like things that you teach, spirituality or any type of even occult, all of those things you believe, like once you're formed in the body, I know they say the breath and all that stuff, but
No.
once you become aware that
Yes,
you are pregnant, there is a child there. There is a soul there. Whether the soul chooses to
that's
enter
right.
your body then,
Okay.
or at the time of actual crossover, we still
Okay.
count it as one.
Okay.
Especially if you chose to sever that, whether it's miscarriage, abortion, or whatever,
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
natural cause of whatever the choice was for you, you still count
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
So
So that was the second part of that. Okay. So children, I mean, Keith also said all children show up aborted, miscarried, etc. And then
absolutely.
Tanya said, so if you're pregnant, if your first pregnancy didn't come through, would the characteristics be of the seventh house instead of the fifth house?
Yes. Yeah.
That's correct. Okay.
You do have some people who are able to look at if a planet falls into those houses, right? So say if you have your fifth house in Libra, if you would have had Mars there, right? And I didn't know you had a son. I didn't know you had any kids. I would ask you like, "Oh, you have any kids?" Like, "Yeah." Like, "Is it a boy?" But inherently, Mars to be masculine. So I was like, "Do you have a boy?" And he said, "Well, no, I have a girl." I'm like, "Wait, is she a little masculine? Does she dress a look?" Some charts you are able to see that.
I
But most
see.
of the time, the fifth house will show you those qualities for each child. And then sometimes, because remember, we choose our own, sometimes they'll have a placement or a planet there, or it'll cross over and land in your chart a certain way, which is synastry when you can lay a mother and a child's chart together, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see the energy that you give your child or that they get from you, how they see you, if they see you as what type of authority figure. Because, I mean, it's kids. They're always going to see you as authority because
Okay.
you're training them and telling them how to live and teaching them responsibility. And that's a huge part of Saturn.
Okay.
And you have to build them up.
So the synastry is where you can compare. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
you can do romantic or you can do family, whichever.
Okay.
For romantic, there's I believe some sites go by like a percentage. If you ever want to look it up, you can do it for free. It's on astroseek.com. You just
Okay.
put astroseek.com and you can put synastry. But
Mm-hmm.
you would need again the person's birth information as well as the birth time.
Okay. So if they
So
don't have a person's birth time, because
I
most people
12 p.m. girl.
12 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, but I told you it's not that. That's a little cheap, but it's not that far off. Again, if you know the person, like you
Oh, I
start to
see.
intimately know the person, you know their love language. You know if they're the type who likes expensive gifts, and you say, okay, maybe their Venus is in Leo. They like gifts. They like to tell you what they want, you know.
That's
Or
right.
you
That's
have
right.
people who like Venus in Cancer. They may say, oh, just cook a meal for me, and that's their comfort. That's the way that they like love and like to give and receive love.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how you'll figure some of those out.
Okay. I think that was all that we had from that. So we can go ahead and I think we're going to do the comparisons. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I want to see if it'll come
Okay.
up
Okay.
because streaming only lets me show the tabs. It doesn't let me show any of my like my Microsoft Word stuff. But that's okay.
Oh.
I just wanted to
Uh,
show.
well, if you,
Um,
I wonder if I bring up. Oh, I see what you're saying. You want, oh, so you can't go to the site per se. I wonder if
I
there's a
wonder if I
link.
can put it in the. You think
See,
I can send it to you and
yeah,
you'll be able.
let's see if it pops up as a link, and then if it does, I can click on it, and
Okay,
we'll
hold on.
just
Let
see what
me.
happens.
Um, let's see if I can see it.
I've never done that before, but we can definitely see.
Hyperlink.
You know,
I don't know if it'll let me do it. It's saying slides. I would love to put
oh,
the slides
you know
in.
what? And also it says present. Do you have a present at the bottom? Can you see
Oh
that?
yeah, that's what I've been picking. Oh, I got it. You know what? I'm gonna pick share the entire screen.
Okay.
So let's see if it'll let me do it.
What y'all think? What y'all think about that y'all learned so far about me? If y'all didn't already know, some of y'all probably already knew some of this. So it's very interesting. I can't wait until like, we finish everything and then I just go in and start, dibbling and dabbling and just kind of see how the thing. Uh, yeah, Keith said I'm comparing streaming apps. Which do y'all recommend? Oh shoot,
Who
we'll come back. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You can answer her while I'm still looking. I'm
Um,
gonna have to send it to you in
it
the
just
email.
it just depends on what works with your computer. For me, it just depends. I can use any of them, but then I have an Apple computer, and I don't really know that that matters because so, I'm trying to think of the one that starts with an E. It's called Echo something. It just depends. You like that one? I can't think of what it's called. It's called Echo something. Tanya said, "Well." I would say just try them out and then see what you like, because it's different for everybody and the prices are different. There are some free, but there's a little bit of, and I like them too, but there's a little bit of what you call, it's like a learning curve. So you got to play with them, you got to play with them.
It's the thing telling me to go and unlock. Um, sweetie.
Can you get it? If not, if you,
No, I'm. You gotta like unlock it from the inside. I was trying to send it to you in a.
I'm over here looking at the other one from the other day to see if there was some questions. Seems like there was.
No, it's gonna require me to unlock the computer. We can do
Will it
that.
will it let me um
You have to check on your side and see, because from my side, it's I'd have to do the permission, but it's gonna restart the computer if I do the
oh,
permission
I
to
see
view
what
the
you're
whole
saying.
screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it just shows the tab. Um,
Will it let you if you can you send it to me in the chat in the comment? Can you type it the link there, copy and paste it there? Then I can see if I can click on it and show it.
okay, let's see. It's a Microsoft. You think I could share a Microsoft?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean,
It's a document you mean? Or you put it on the document, typed it out, kind of. Yeah, you should be able to do that and then click on the share screen. Kind of like what we've been doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could send you the link right now.
Yeah, I don't really see any questions on that. It was just comments. She said some people just don't want to do it themselves. They don't care how simple it is.
Who said that, Keith?
Baby Kitty will come for y'all lazy asses, okay? You get your lazy self. Do your shit. Do your homework.
I do like the collaboration, like when you two or three people are doing it and y'all both figuring out like, oh, you say this and you say that. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm really disappointed in this. I'm gonna see if I can email it to you, see if you can put it up on your side.
Okay.
But let me do a little chit chat real quick since I'm doing this. So I was thinking about it and I was talking to my friend and she caught the first live and she was just telling me to make sure that I just encourage everybody just to piggyback off of, what Keith said. I know everybody isn't starting from where we both started from, right? Because you've had, very little help with astrology, prior, even if you didn't continue that specific route, right?
Right.
And I wanted to say it's not to get anybody discouraged, but when you hear certain things, even if you don't know your chart, when I say little things like, oh, Jupiter's your husband or Venus is your comforts, Venus is a verb, so it can talk about a person, place, or thing in action. So those little key things, those are things that you can begin to write down in your notebook. If I say the sun is your soul's urge, that's something you can write down. Like you don't have to know your whole chart. You don't have to know the makeup. You don't have to know anything. Just start where you are. Write those keywords down. Whatever your sun sign is, you write down things that you can remember. So, for me, I'm a Leo. I'll say, oh, some people say I'm charismatic. I'll write that down. And I'll say, well, I like being in the sun. If that's all you can think of, you write that shit on down. Yeah. Or people say, oh, you have this glow about you. Oh, glow. Okay. You write it down. And that's how you build everything. You're not going to know everything. We all still learning. Don't get discouraged. If you can't follow now, don't worry about it. You more than likely will as you keep getting more and more acquainted with the terminology. That's like the biggest thing. And then once you do look at your chart, you're going to be able to say, oh, I know this goes here. I know the moon is your emotions. I know the moon is also your mom. I know the moon is your intuition. As long as you learn little things, you will be able to maneuver. Not even perfectly, but enough that you can understand yourself.
It just takes a little bit of time.
Of course.
All things take time. Practice, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Did you get I sent you the email.
You did? Okay. Is it a chart something? Is it a chart?
Yes, it's titled BLG chart comparison.
Oh, okay. I got
you. When you open it up, make sure you click on the page view, the wide, just so they can get right next to each other because the chart is a little big. But if you turn the view to the side, it'll put the both side by side.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
I think I probably will need to go back and once we're done with the streaming sessions live, go back and probably create some short videos just on how each planet falls into the house and the meaning. Okay. But again, astrology is very layered. So when you see me talking about it, I'm literally putting all the layers in my mind together simultaneously. So you have to remember you have the house, which is the house theme it's occurring in to tell you what topic it's related to, which is how I know if it's the first house, second, third, fourth. You have to look at the element, whether it's fire, air, water, earth, to tell you whether it's what the modality is, if it's an energy to you that is fixed, that is mutable, meaning it's ever changing, it's something that you can move with, or if it's cardinal, which means it's something that needs to be initiated by you in order for that energy to manifest. That's little places you'll start. So again, when you hear about the planet and little keywords, start there. Start writing down those keywords, whatever you can think of, whatever you can remember. And again, use Google, because every time you come in contact with new knowledge, the only way you're going to really remember is if you start writing it. Writing is a good reinforcement instead of trying to go off memory, because I did that for a couple months learning astrology, just trying to get it in my head. And when you're not writing, the mind isn't, making it more concrete for you.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got them both up. Let me put this chat over here. Now I'm trying to see. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now you tell me how did you want me to do it side by side? Just make one bigger.
It's supposed to say when you open up Microsoft Word.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to View.
Yeah.
You should be able to either do the print view or the web view. Click on the web view and see if they align side by side.
Okay, let's see. Down towards the bottom.
No, when you at the top where it says Home, Insert Design, Layout, References, Mail.
They got which one you on? Print web view?
Yeah.
All right, I got it. Let me.
Okay, cool.
Make it big. All right, so let's go here to share the screen. Present. Yeah. Let's do present. Slides. We need these slides. We have these slides. Okay.
To answer the question, with Tanya in the comments, what is the significance of having your sun and rising as the same sign? That means that the way you are, the way you present yourself is really your true soul's urge. So, you call yourself Mother Gaia, Mother Light. That is actually who you really are. And the more you embody that, is the more you get comfortable with you showing yourself without like any type of hidden things. The sun is going to illuminate those things. So the way you dress, the way you think, the way you approach your life, your ideologies, anybody that you attract into your life, that's your first house. And you have it I believe yours is Aquarius. So it's very unconventional. It's very eccentric. Uranus is kind of like the rebel. It rules Aquarius and Saturn too. I'm talking to Tanya in the comments.
No, I'm trying to. You go ahead. I was trying to do what they're telling me what the screen is telling me to do, and it's like.
See, because it don't let you. For some reason, it won't let me show the whole screen unless you unless I authorize it, but it wants you to start the computer over after you authorize it. I don't want to do that.
You should be able to see. Okay, let's see. Window.
Troy said, "What in my chart will show I only like to wear my workout clothes." Where's your moon at? I don't think I know your chart. I was about to guess a placement. I'm like, I think you are a Scorpio moon. I don't know what house it's in though. What house is it in? Or what's your rising sign? Not able to get it.
It's not letting me do it.
Okay.
That's okay.
Let's see.
Because it wants to like it's an uploadable file, and I'm trying to do that, or it's in Google Slides. Like, dude, nobody got
Yeah,
no.
you can put it in the slides, but I don't know how you do it from the streaming side.
Okay.
Moon in the 7th. Oh, you have a Scorpio 7th? Oh. You a Taurus rising? Oh. You know, it's so funny when people when people start telling you their placements. And then, another thing too, when you do astrology, like you silently like, judge people based off the energy based on your chart. Because you know where your planets fall. So yeah, that will make you a Taurus rising, right? And you like to sing?
All right. It ain't letting me do it. Damn it. I was trying to think another way that I could do it. Y'all.
But the moon just shows what you find comforting. Scorpio is just like anything that's comfortable. So it could be workout clothes. It could be a lot of hoodies. It could be wearing a lot of black. It could be covering your head often, whether that's, headscarf, hat, whatever. Scorpio likes to be like hidden. So like you're not trying to cause attention with what you wear. You would rather just be like chill. You think you can add it to?
I'm trying to see if I could add. I was trying to see if I could do. I saved it to my desktop, and it's kind of like it looks like it won't allow me to.
It won't let you share the whole screen.
Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can do the entire screen. Oh, I think screen number 2. Let me do screen number 2.
Oh yeah, put it over there first. Don't show nothing. Get it on the screen first.
Okay, I'm trying to let me say that there. Oh, that I think this is the one. Okay, I think that's screen 2. Yeah, because that's screen 3. Okay, let's do. Okay, we got it. Okay, so I got it on screen 2. Now what is it saying? It's saying unlock the screen by selecting the lock button. Let me see if I can do this other way.
While Boujee's figuring that out, I'm still gonna. Now that I know your moon sign, right? Trust. I know it's in. You said it's in the 7th house of Scorpio. So I'm a Scorpio rising. So anybody who has the rising sign of your moon sign, they're going to feel some sort of instant connection with you. And sometimes, not all the time, usually you tend to feel more emotionally comfortable with them because your moon rules your emotions. Not always. It depends because Scorpio is tricky. The sign itself is tricky. They don't trust nobody. So anybody with a major Scorpio placement, sun, moon, or rising, they deal with that internal trusting thing. I mean, your name literally is trust. So that's very aligned with Scorpio. They very tend to be like paranoid. They could be fearful. And to a certain degree, most of it is true. Like you have that intuitive nudge or knowing in your personal relationships for it always to be free, true, how you feel about it. Or anybody else that has those planets, like so I think Mike is a Scorpio sun. I think so. So if he is, then people with the sun and moon connection, I would already know if I looked at your synastry chart. Okay, y'all have traveled this life a lot, like all these lives a lot together. People with the sun and moon together, the man is the moon or the sun is the woman. It don't really matter how the matchup is. They tend to have like that nice cohesiveness when it comes to love because you know it just goes with astronomy, the sun and the moon. So it's a very nice placement to have when you're in a relationship with somebody. Or have your moon in the same modality as somebody, you know that they're going to be able to meet your emotional needs.
All right, we're not going to be able to do it. So what I'm going to have to do is at some point upload this, so I can upload it to the Google Drive and then be able to do it that way. Because it's not allowing me to do it without restarting.
Right.
Okay, so forget it.
Okay. Well,
right.
we're just chopping it up, answering a couple questions. You know, we it's no rush, people. We still gonna. This is like my second time doing this, so bear with us. You know, bear with us. But also trust. I know that anybody that you for anybody watching, any woman watching, again, you don't have to know a lot about astrology, but if you just want to learn a couple things, your fifth house is your romantic partners. That's your hookups. It's also the house of your children. That's the house of romance. It's the house of creativity. The seventh house is your house of commitment. So once you have made it out of your fifth house, you move into your seventh house, right? After the seventh house, you go into the next house, which is your eighth house. That's your marriage house. If you really want to see how your marriage is going to be and what you're going to benefit from the other person, and I know it's the other person because the eighth house is other people's money. That's what you benefit. And we're talking marriage, right? Okay. If you want to talk about what type of wedding you're going to have, if you decided to have a wedding, you look at the ninth house. It'll tell me what type of wedding you more than likely would like to have. If you have, this is an example, right? So if you have, I'll take my chart. I have Cancer on the ninth house. Thinking about this, and I also have Venus there. So you're thinking about Cancer, the traits of the Cancer. The Cancer rules the home. It rules a lot of comforting things. And so for me, and it also is in the ninth house, so it could rule churches as well. So I may like to get married in a church or any type of spiritual union when it comes to being in somebody's. I might get married in somebody's backyard because the backyard is Cancer related to the home. And the 10th house and the ninth house are your in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
That's their energy that they will give you. I think that's pretty much it for relationship houses. So also too, in committed relationships, I'll say, if your partner has planets in your fifth house, your seventh house, your ninth house, your fifth house, we know that if they have prominent placements there, you and this person can probably conceive a child together. If they have a certain placement there, and actually if they have Saturn there, you guys are going to grow into a commitment. Because I know people say that Saturn restricts, but it's also going to reward you too. So that could be there as well. And then in the ninth house, you will just know that how this person will relate to, or you and this person share similar philosophies, I'll say. That's just based off Trust chart having her moon in the seventh, and I believe Mike is a Scorpio sun. Yeah, so.
Yeah. I've got it over here in the dock still. I can't do it unless I restart it, so we can do this one the next time. I've got it over there.
That's what it told me. It told me how to restart it.
That's all good. Whatever.
That's all good, baby. We just sitting there just answering a couple questions. So what I'm gonna do, let me click back over real quick, and I'm gonna just show. I just want to show people the astrological house themes, just so they can see exactly what I was talking about as far as where I'm getting the verbiage from when I'm talking about the house themes. Look for the site so I can bring it up. All right, go ahead and pop that up for me, Boujee.
All right, got you.
All right, guys. So this is the chart that you can look up if you really need it. There are so many that are like this. This just tells you what each house theme is. So this is how I know the first house, it rules the self and your appearances, your new beginnings, your body. This is the chart that every astrologer uses, whether it's this variation or another. So I'm not pulling the words out of thin air. I'm literally just going by what the houses symbolize. So I go to the second house. I know the second house is money, it's your income. As you continue to move around the wheel, you just make note of these things and then you try to figure out how the planet feels or the energy feels there or how you will relate, I'll say. But this is basically how it goes. So you can look this up on Google. You can just type in zodiac house symbolism. You're gonna get
Hmm.
so many different ones. Or you can look on Pinterest as well. There's so many different ones that you can use, and I find this to be the best one. And what I do is I usually just print it out, and then I'll go ahead and I'll just continue to add along each house the new words that
Also,
I find because oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
you can add to it.
So this is
Okay.
one variation. Again, I think this is the best, the most detailed one that I found that I see a lot of people use. Because even in the astrology classes that I've taken, they tend to use this exact one. So this
Okay.
is like, I believe this is the first or second option when you type in the zodiac house symbolism
Hmm.
or house themes, astrological house themes. It'll come up and you print it out. You don't have to, but again, writing things down is better for reinforcement. And you print it out and you just keep adding to it. Because some of the things that I mentioned, as you can see, they're not on this list because those are things that I learned and I just learned to start building.
So you literally could probably have like a spreadsheet, right, of different things, the
Yeah.
house symbolism,
Yeah.
that type of thing,
Mhm.
because the
Yeah.
wheel is kind of, I know you got what they gave as an example. There's just
Yeah.
only just some of the things you couldn't even fit everything in there, right?
Right. This is
Or
what
not
it
everything.
most
The
astrologers
other,
start off with.
okay, okay,
Hmm. I
wow,
believe the
and that's
astrologer by the name of Chris Brennan, I believe that he came up with this wheel just like for just easy dissemination of which is which. So when people say, "Oh, I have this house and this number," you can just correlate it to the number.
learning purposes too for
Hmm.
new people like me, some trained
Yeah, yeah.
wheels.
No, it's
I
good
like
though,
it.
because sometimes you get stuck, right? So I know
Yeah.
that we know that you have a lot of planets in the fourth house, right? So even
Hmm.
if I don't know the planets, I'm looking at the themes of the fourth house. So I know that growing up, your home and family was a big thing for you. I know that, self care, your family was very important. There are some things in here that I know that the energy was just greatly magnified because there's so much energy. That's the multiple planets that are there.
I see.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, you continue to go on. Again, we said about the children, that's the fifth house, right? You see it, it's right there. It says
Yeah.
creativity, it says children. All of those things are most of the things that you can create on your own, right? We create romance, we have love and all of those things. So those are things that take a bit of fire, push.
Mm.
And then you go all the way around. And every time somebody mentions something new, you just write it in. Like I said, the ninth house is your wedding. It's not there because people don't focus on that. They focus on, oh, when you're in your ninth house, you're gonna travel. They literally only focus on the one thing, but there's so many layers to it.
I
You don't have to
see.
be traveling anywhere. You can travel in your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, you can just look that up. You can Google it, which is astrological house themes. So you always know which house that's how I know if somebody tells me, oh yeah, I have a core, I'm a whatever rising, I'm a Virgo rising. So what is my I know that Libra's in the second house, so I would tell them, oh, themes related to your money, or maybe your self-esteem is gonna need some balancing out, or maybe you may get some money from a law winning, anything, because I know the themes are gonna reflect whatever that house has.
Mm. Which house, if at all, has anything to do with like dreaming,
12th house.
manifesting? Fourth house.
Between the 12th house and the 4th house. My chart, I don't know if anybody can see, but my chart that I have here, I write so many things down
Let's
that are
see.
not. I've had this chart and I just built on it. So I
Okay.
have it in 2 different places because they say the 12th house is the subconscious, the mind, the house rules, even Christ
Okay.
consciousness, right? It's a different level. There's level to spirituality that the 12th house is domain over. But also dreams come from your 4th house to your home, your foundation. Now, if you're talking about dreams like goals,
No,
or
no. I
dreams
meant
like
yeah, I meant like a sleep
oh,
dream.
12th house.
Yeah.
I would say 12th
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
But
12th house.
if just say hypothetically someone who comes across the video is thinking about like goals, what would that be?
11th house.
11th house. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Future.
It has it I'm
Wishes.
almost toward the end. It says hopes and wishes. Yeah.
Hopes and wishes. Okay, yeah.
Mhm. But that will also be your goals, your ambitions. But the 11th house is the house of friends. So that would also correlate to what can be realized or actualized through the use of the other people that are around you, other
Yeah.
resources.
Uh, okay.
And then I think Tanya said, would the will like this, would planet attributes match up or do the planets move around? This never changes. This just depends on if you don't know what each house means. That's all. If you just want to know what each house means, that's all this is telling you. So your planets are probably going to be in certain signs, depending on your age as well. Like, so if you were born from, I believe, 1983 to maybe 91, your Pluto's going to be in Scorpio. And if you were born 11 or 12 years before, and then it'll be in Libra, and so on and so forth. Now, those things, everybody in your age group are going to have them in the same sign, not the same house.
Is that
Again,
because
huh?
is that because you were talking about something changes every 12 years?
Yeah, no, because I was answering Tanya's questions
Oh,
when she
oh,
was
oh.
saying, would everybody have, like, would the planets match up or would they move around? It depends on the planet. So we have generational planets that everybody in your generation, you're gonna have it in the same sign, not the same house. So yeah, the planets are gonna keep moving around unless you have an identical twin, and then your chart gonna be the same. If not, you and nobody else on Earth are gonna have the same chart. It's gonna be off by seconds, minutes, something. It's going to be off, and it is going to make the energy come across different, which is what we were trying to show in our presentation. But
Dang.
we'll get to that for the next one. Now we have something to look
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
to. We
I'll
dive
play with
right
it.
in.
Yeah. So just you want to
And
tell them who we're going to be comparing it to?
oh yeah, so I wanted to pick somebody that's in the public eye as well. She's also an entertainer, not in the same business line, but it depends on how you look at it. So I ended up choosing Regina King because I don't know a lot of things about her personally, but I can attest to some things that she's done in her public and career life. Right? I'm sure we knew her as Brenda on 227, and then she was in Jerry Maguire and a couple of other notable films. So I was just using her to compare because she is a Capricorn sun and a Virgo moon as well, just like Boujee. So those two are the same. She is a different rising sign, and the sun and the moon are in different houses. So I just wanted to briefly go over that so you guys could see just how that energy can be the same. And yes, she was definitely on Boondock. She does a lot of things behind the scene too, which you guys will see. I know off the back of my head, she has her sun in the 12th house. So the things that her soul really has the urge to do are going to be a lot behind the scenes, a lot of directing, a lot of producing, even a lot of voice acting things.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely next time we're gonna have it up and running for y'all.
Yeah,
We probably will come back, I guess, a little earlier maybe than Sunday
yeah,
next time.
yeah. Let's do it a little earlier, a
Yeah,
lot, yeah, earlier.
yeah,
I know it's evening time, but we're basing it around your schedule, so yeah, we could
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. More. We know definitely earlier.
Yeah.
I'm free on Sundays.
I was going to ask you. So Tanya, based on okay, so here's something I have had. This is great question. Tanya asked, She said, Boujee is my twin. So let me ask you that. So
Yeah.
it's in another lifetime, on a
Mhm.
different timeline, right?
Yeah.
So do those things count as well?
Yeah, of course. More than likely, you guys share like a connecting planet. So me and what I was saying briefly about Trust's chart, right? So me and a good friend, a person that kind of helps me feel understood. She's a Scorpio sun, right? And I'm a Scorpio rising. So does that mean automatically we spend a past life together? No, but I know because she got a past life regression. And when she asked, she was like, "Well, Christina," to me, and they said, "Oh, you guys were always good friends, and you in this life continuing same on." But I would say I have that from her having a personal placement in one that rules me, my first house, my ego, myself. It is relating to me. She's illuminating those qualities in myself. So a lot of times we see that in
Yeah.
either the first house, the fourth house, the seventh, or the 10th, your powerhouses. You have someone has a planet in those houses. You feel instantly connected. The energy is returned. It's very reciprocal. I know that I believe your Aquarius is the ninth house,
Mm-hmm.
and she's an Aquarius sun. So it doesn't have to be her sun sign, but it could be any of her other placement. It could be her Venus. It could be
Okay.
what she does and what you do. You guys have a very close tie. I don't know where her Venus is. I have her information, but I don't have her chart up. So I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
say once I see it and then I'll be
That's
able to match
cool.
it. Huh?
I said that's cool. So
Yeah.
does this person and myself, do we remind you of each other?
Yeah.
We have similar qualities or whatever?
Similar qualities. So
That's
okay, so good that she said that, right? And
Yeah.
so we use Regina King, right? I actually can talk about it a little bit since we're gonna use Tanya.
Okay.
So we're just gonna talk about it because we don't have the visual aid, but that's all right. We're gonna briefly talk about it. So it's funny. I don't know the degree that Tanya's rising sign is in. It does count just to talk about the way that the energy is exhibited. But if we're just going straight off of element, which is air, water, fire, earth, you're a Gemini rising. We know that to be an air sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Aquarius, we also know that as to be an air sign, right? Now this was from Regina's chart as well. So your rising, we know that that's who you embody. We know that at heart you're a conversationalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for her, so is she. She's seen as somebody that's being very innovative, right? That's her first rising because people say, "Oh, she's doing it all. She's acting, she's debuting, directing things, she's producing, she's doing so many things that are far beyond her generational reach. She's being groundbreaking in society." And one of her primary roles, I see Tanya put down here, was in the Boondocks, and she played multiple characters. But people first think of Huey and Riley, and who was Huey? He was somebody that protested about rights and forward thinking and freeing your mind and being woke and being spiritual and all of those things. So they correlate to her rising sign and what she's best known as. So as far as Tanya having a similar Aquarius rising, that's why it can seem like you guys are very similar and are pretty much they're like sister signs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
energy is the same. It's both air. It both flows. Let's communicate. You both have that out of the box thinking.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let me ask you this. Since you said that about Regina, and you were speaking about not to compare, but just
Mhm.
I'm trying to just get a little understanding. You know how you were talking about how she's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing that. Would that be the same as if when I have dreams? Okay, I would love to do this. Oh, I would love to do that. Oh, I would love to do that. Is that kind of like the same thing?
For you, it is the same
Well,
because
it's
Gemini likes
whether you're
variety.
doing it or not. Right. Okay. So what
Yeah, Gemini
Gemini
likes variety.
you
You don't have to be.
got
Gemini just likes a lot of different options.
okay, okay,
So I
okay.
know that people like to hyper focus on Gemini being communication, but there's so many forms of communication, whether it's written, it's spoken, it's in a song. However you're choosing, whether you're having a podcast or you choose to only do typing, whatever it is you choose
Yeah.
to do is different other forms. Um, so I can definitely see how that
Okay.
compares.
Okay. I didn't know if it's have to be something you've actually done or something like that. That would be cool to do that. Ooh,
It's something that you can't. Your first house, most of the time, is things that you just can't help doing
uh,
because that's the house that you built first. And remember, with solar return, every year you literally move around 12 slices of the pie every year. So for people who don't like certain signs, it's kind of crazy because you become that sign at one point in your life. because you need to master those skills. Because we know you're a Capricorn, that's great. But then what do you know about being a Leo? You don't. You know, when that year rolls around, you need to get those qualities of being more independent and being more creative and maybe paying more attention to your children, or maybe having more of a childlike energy, maybe allowing your inner child to grow, or maybe that's the time you think about conceiving, or it all just depends, right? On
Mhm.
the house that it falls on. So every year we're mastering more energy. And after that 12th year hits, you're dropping what you don't need. And you're doing all of this intuitively, right? The soul always knows. Your chart is just a journey of your soul.
I see.
Yeah.
So, like, was in this one, this year would be Gemini, but it would be the next one in the second house, right? It would just go around that way, right?
Well, right now you're in your 12th house. You're not
Oh,
in
my
your first
12th
house.
house. Oh, I see.
In
So
your,
then it would go to
yeah.
the first house.
So right now you're
Got
your
it.
12th house year, right? And we have to look to the ruler. The ruler is Venus,
Okay.
right? And Venus is in your 7th house. So between the two houses, you're going to be experiencing a lot of energy between the two, but it's going to come out in the 12th. So yeah, you may be spending more time with your close partners, and again, if you are in a committed relationship, that person will fall under your 7th house. You will be spending more time with them, but it's private. And not that you're looking for things to go private, it's
Yeah.
just where it is. There's a tendency to go into hermit mode when you in your 12th, because I'm in my 12th house year too, which is so funny. I'm in my 12th house year. And so all the things that I felt like were buried, right, are slowly coming up. And again, you asking me about dreams. A lot of
Mhm.
things are coming through my dreams. Like this past week, I've had like 2 or 3 exes come in my dreams and give me a gift or come apologize. And I'm like, what is going on? But it also aligns with the karmic year, because this is how great spirituality is, right? Because you need nobody to come to you in the physical to do nothing, because they're gonna come and
That's
apologize.
right. That's right. That's right.
They're
That's
gonna
right.
come and it's all the same, because you're gonna get your karma on this side and get it in the back. Okay, so I just love it. But also your 12th house year is preparing you to be reemerged, to come out like new. It's the time for you now to try all of those things behind the scenes to see if you even want to be this next person, because the
Mm.
first house is your ego. That's your identity. You're gonna be somebody else, whether you are trying to or not. I don't mean somebody else like not you,
I know what you're
but
saying.
just a new layer of who you are, because that's the 12-year cycle is now done. A new one will begin next year. Your birthday,
I see what you're
you will
saying.
be somebody else.
So you take on the next house characteristics.
Yep. So you'll be in your first house, which means you'll be in the public eye more. You'll probably change the way that you approach people. Not to say you're not going to be your Gemini self,
Yeah.
but maybe it won't be as free spirited, right? You'll say, let me have a little bit more of a frame. Let me watch what I say. Because again, Gemini can have a tendency to be a little bit gossipy, even though it's not in a negative way. You
Yeah.
say, I usually be wanting to know the tea, but
Yeah.
I ain't gonna worry about it now, because
Yeah.
I don't even want to be bothered.
That's right.
You just start moving a little bit different. But you never really you don't let anything go unless it's not serving you. But if
Yes.
it's still helping you be who you are and be authentic, then it's just only gonna get better.
I
And
see.
a higher octave.
I got you.
Yeah. But anytime you're in your 12th house year, you're gonna want to hide. You're gonna want to be behind the scenes. Like, cause even now you don't have any problem being in the public eye. Like, you enjoy being on camera, you enjoy doing your thing, but you're also gonna find too, like, people are inviting you out and you're like,
Yep.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. And you only really go where you want to go, because it's just something about the energy is calling for you to be in, reflect,
Yeah.
sit with yourself and see what you no longer need. What have you picked up on? The 12-year cycle is a long time.
Yeah. That I would agree on that. Wow.
It's a long time. And every year gives you it grants you a natal promise.
And I
And by
like that,
that,
the little promise.
a natal promise. So that is correlated by the house you're in, the ruler of that sign. So we know you're in a 12th house year. You're in a 12th, you have 12th house Taurus. The ruler of Taurus is Venus. So we know that wherever you have Venus in your natal, this is your natal chart now. Your natal chart don't change.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that you have your natal Venus in the 7th house. So it's telling me that any conditions that Venus is in, that means whether good or not so good, or high or low, it's going to happen. So that means if most people, I don't remember what happened to me years and years ahead, not 12 years. I really don't. If I see a picture, I could tell you what I was doing that day, but I can't tell you in the year what I was doing.
Right.
Some people like to go back to the year 12 years before and see where they were, what cycles were new, what cycles were different. Were they in the middle of maybe planning a wedding, or if they weren't planning a wedding, maybe they were getting into a big contract, the biggest contract they ever had, because the seventh house also rules contracts. It doesn't have to be romantic if you don't have a partner. I mean, you can't make it if it ain't nobody there. So that's what I'm saying. If your romantic partners have made it out of the fifth house, they should be in your. They should reflect your seventh. Now, if you're looking for a husband, you look at your Jupiter sign. Jupiter is your husband. He must possess those qualities over Mars. Mars is fuck or fight. Excuse my language. That's what Mars is. It's a lot of bumping heads. The energy is quick. It's a fire sign. It likes to burn out. It likes to bump its head. It's all of the characteristics of Aries. It's first. It's childish. It's the first sign in the zodiac. So if we know that I have Aries and Mars. I like men who are like quick, straightforward. Like, this is what I want. What's up? Like, I like that though. Like, so it reflects for me, but that's not my husband. My husband's in Gemini, right? So that tells me I need mental stimulation. Because we're not making it just on the quickness. That's not gonna get me where I need to go. I need a man that is going to be well versed, a man that uses his mental intellect, and he's probably really good at communicating.
Yeah.
And then I have it in the eighth house. So I would say that, well, maybe my husband he could be a lawyer because he works with other people's money. Like, he could be, or he could be a writer. He could just be a writer, because Gemini rules communication. And again, another form of communication is writing.
I like that. It's good to know those two different areas too. I like the comparison of those two different areas. You know?
Because it's kind of hard to say which one if you don't have a person in mind, right? So you have your Jupiter in your 12th house, right? So this is somebody that even before I go with the house, I'll go with the sign Taurus. Taurus actually rules like the earth, the ground, flowers. It also rules things that are comfort, but all the senses. So that smell, touch, taste. So most people jump for food because, I mean, Taurus, people say, but Taurus placements, they love to eat. And they do, right? Because it's a comfort. Food is a comfort. But also the things that you listen to, the type of money that you gain. It could be somebody with any type of, I know the person is going to be grounded. They're going to be reliable because Taurus is an earth sign. It's going to be somebody who likes to spend money because Taurus is the natural sign of the second house. And they got a coin. They keep a coin.
Yes, they do.
but you can also say on the lower octave, this could have been someone that may have went to jail. Is it prison? Is he a murderer? No. It could have just mean he spent a night in jail, right? I don't know what the charge would be. I mean, I couldn't tell you, right?
That's right.
I don't know. But I would say, okay, or not even that. Okay, well, you got Jupiter in the 12th house. Okay. Is this person a chef? Is he a chef for any type of institution? The 12th house is institutions. And so it could be prison. It could be jail. It could be rehab. Could be something like that, or it could be any type of place where people stay. Could also be. I believe it could be cruise ships too.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be anywhere along those lines as far as like a partner. Either the partner deals with cooking, landscaping, any type of comfort. So that's see, touch, taste, feel. They could make clothes, but anything, whatever they do, it's hidden. There's a aspect to where maybe most people didn't know about that they did it. Even did it. Okay, you did it. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know you did that.
Okay.
But we try to look for our husband, someone that we want to marry with those qualities. They're gonna have some of them, even not in
Jupiter.
Huh?
You said in Jupiter?
Yes, the Jupiter is your husband. Yeah. But
see.
if you so say if you look at those qualities, right, and you say, okay, well, if I'm going off of Taurus, I know my man never been to jail. He ain't never been to jail. Okay, that's fine. So you say, okay, I know he's reliable, he's stable. He keeps money, he keeps some income on him, and he does like the finer things. And the finer things are just whatever your palate will call finer. Certain food, certain clothes, certain things that bring you comfort, because we know Taurus is ruled by Venus. But if you wanted to look at where your actual Venus is, it's in the 7th house. So he can also exhibit those qualities. You might say, okay, there's Sagittarius here. This person probably that I'm gonna marry is not from where from I'm from. So when I say not where from you're from, is they weren't born in the same place you call your native land. So if you from up north and he from Bahamas, then that's what it is. Or if he from, Little Rock, Arkansas, and then you from, like, it's gonna be like that. From a person that's at a distance. Now, do they have to live distant? No. Their family could just not have been born from here either. It could be their family too.
I see.
So yeah. So the person could be born here and they say, oh, where you from? Oh yeah, my family's Italian. Okay. So but I know that just from Sagittarius. Sagittarius is long distance places.
Okay.
Or it could be somebody who their family could be very religious. This person could be religious.
Wow.
And not religious to where they're not receptive. They're just open to higher knowledge, right? In any way that it comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Tanya, the sign every year will change depending on the house that you're in. And that is correlated by your solar return chart, and it is by age. So each house moves you, or each age moves you around the pie. So when you're 0 to 1 years old, you're in your first house. When you're 2, you're in your second. When you're 3, you're in your third, as you continue all the way around. And yeah, when you're 0 to 1, you're developing your personality. And if you're not sure if you still have a parent that's living, or if you ever discuss with them, oh, how was I when I was growing up, or what happened when I was 2 or 3, sometimes you can pinpoint certain things that occurred to you growing up. Or like if I look at your third house, right? Depending on what sign is in your third house, I know the third house rules early childhood education. I have it in Capricorn. Like, my mom was really adamant about studying. She's really adamant about making sure you're building on your lessons. I always went to school, even in the summertime. Like, you'll start to see little things. And also my mother and my father are teachers. So you can see it in the third house, though. You can see it in the third house. Just the way you learned. I believe yours is in Leo. I would probably ask you, have you ever went to performing arts school? Does it have the exhibit that way?
Well,
No.
She dances, and she does the classes. So could that be, or would it be more of early
creativity? You remember that's dance, acting, all of the above. We always shorten it to like, it's not rapping or painting, but there's so many levels to creativity. So your third house, again, is your early childhood education. And I didn't make that up. That was from the chart wheel. That's from the themes. I just took one word out of the theme, and then I just talked about it. So I know that when people hear it, they're like, well, how you know which word? The way I know which word, to be honest, it takes me some time. Sometimes I'm sitting with the chart, and I'm also feeling your energy. It can be a little bit weird. But once I know my chart in and out, sign, degree, everything. But once I see yours, I know what type of energy you're going to give me. I know how it's going to work for me. Like, I already know. Like, our moons are both in Virgo, and they're not that far apart. Oh, emotionally, you're going to get it. I'm going to tell you about shit. You'll be like, I'm on your side. I already know. You're going to feel how I feel. And I do that with everybody I meet, though. I do that with everybody I meet. Like I said last time, you're a Capricorn sun. Your sun falls into my third house. You are the reason, or you are the sun that illuminated into my communication. I also have Neptune there, which tells me that I need to communicate more about those mystical things that I do know. I just don't talk about it. And the third house is also your mind. Not also communication, but also your mind. So if you have a planet in the third house, more than likely it's going to attribute to your thinking. I have a very, very imaginative mind. Yeah.
Let's go. I like that.
Some good shit.
Maybe one day you share some of those mystical things, because I would love to hear them, because I want to know, Oh
yes. So again, wherever you have, so anybody looking, if you got Neptune, that shit is not just for me. It is for you too. Yeah, wherever you have Neptune is a mystical thing,
I see.
right? Wherever it's placed for you. And again, Neptune too is a generational planet. So
I think
depending
I
on
have
where you have,
Neptune. I
oh
think
yeah, of course you do.
and in the sixth house.
Hold on, I gotta.
I think I have it.
Yeah, everybody has it.
Okay, everybody has it.
Yeah, you
Gotcha.
have it in the sixth house. Okay, so remember the sixth house is what you do every day, right? So we know Neptune could be deception. If you were, I hate to say it, but if you were a different type of person, you would not have, like, if I didn't know you on a personal level, I probably would have asked you, have you ever done drugs? Only because Neptune rules drugs, and it's in the sixth house of things that you do every single day. And so does that mean you're gonna do it every day? No. But it may have let me know that you have tried it a time or
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I do shrooms, but I've never done drugs. Never. The shrooms don't
I
count.
think people no, they do count, but I think people hear drugs and they think the hard RK, like it's
No,
about
I'm
crack.
talking about like weed and stuff. Like I do edibles,
It's
but
anything,
never smoke weed.
anything that is mind altering. It
Okay,
doesn't
so I
matter.
guess I did then. Okay, well then, okay.
It also rules alcoholism. That too.
Yeah,
Anything that alters your mind.
I like wine.
Hell yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean,
All the above. All the above. All the
okay,
above.
okay, cool, cool,
When
cool.
you have Neptune and Mercury in any type of negative aspect,
Yeah,
people always tell you, and I have it. I shouldn't. People always tell you sometimes it's not good to do certain drugs because you already have a sensitive mind
yeah, that's true.
in the house
Wow.
of the mind. So you have to watch where you get things from, who you get things from, what energy that they have. Like I have to sage the weed because you have to be really, really careful because the energy of others can greatly affect your mind. Which I have
Yeah,
to watch what I listen to because again, mine is in my third house. Watch what I listen to. Watch who I'm learning from because
yeah,
it affected me when I was younger. So now that I'm
yeah,
older and I'm aware, I know now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would that make sense? Because I actually earlier today I was watching this guy's his uh, IG, and he does shit that's not right and it's illegal. But for some reason, I like watching his videos because he's stupid, just funny as hell. But I said to myself today, you need to stop watching this shit because that's low vibrational. What he's doing, he's
Mhm.
taking from people and he's trying to get people to do stuff that is illegal, and he makes these skits, right?
Yeah.
But you clearly can see that what he's doing is illegal shit. And I was like, okay, yeah, we've had enough of that. And so I
Yeah.
get what you're saying about that. Where I put my mind, but I do have a turn off button, right? It'd be like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this? I'm like, yep, you're right. Okay, let's keep it moving. Because I know when
Yeah.
enough is enough. When I'm seeing something, my intake, and I am sensitive about that, and that's why that includes things like chatting, uh, you hear me say,
Small talk.
you may have heard me say something like, these things going off. It's overstimulated. It's not that I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
them, but it brings my attention, and I need to be doing something else. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's your Gemini rising though. That's who you are as a person. Like the overstimulation you have to watch because there are times where you like, oh, this shit is too much. But it's nothing that you haven't already dealt with. But there are just times where it's
yeah,
just too much.
yeah.
There's just nothing too
Okay,
much. Yeah.
all right. Okay,
This was fun.
this was fun. Dang, I liked it. Part two.
They tried to hate on our little chart. We gonna do it next time though. But we did get one thing out though. At least we know Tanya is Aquarius rising too, so we know that
Yeah,
energy is that air energy is what have you guys always flowing in communication the way that you are.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
same element.
Okay.
Same element.
This was fun. Again, you learning more and more the deeper we get, each episode. So next week, yeah, I'm gonna try to have these charts where we can actually freaking see them. I have to figure out
Yeah.
how to download them because it's just during the spur of the moment. It just take a little bit of time, and I don't want to keep taking away from what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. And guys, if y'all have some questions, make sure you put them in the box, and we'll hit some of those. But next week, you think next week we're gonna go over the solar return? Is that next
Yeah,
week?
we can. We can. As long as we got to get the charts up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the charts first, and
Yeah,
then we'll do
the
that.
solar return I'll be able to do. I can do that from the live stream.
Okay.
But the comparison is the one that we have to upload that one. But
Okay.
the solar return I could be able to walk everybody through it.
Okay, that's
literally
cool.
logging into the site and where they're gonna go and everything, so they can actually find it themselves and see what it
Okay.
looks like, and it'll show them exactly how different it is from your birth chart. And again, that your solar return changes on your birthday every year. Some people believe that if you and you're supposed to use your birthplace. Some people do believe if you say if you spend the holidays and your birthday in Jamaica or something, they do feel like you can change the energy of your chart. I don't believe so, but
That's interesting.
you could try that because the time zone is different, so it's going to shift your planets around. Remember, the only thing that comes back in the solar return is your sun. That's it. That means every other planet is going to be somewhere else because for that year, it needs you to focus those particular energies in a certain way. It don't change your birth chart now. It just
Yeah.
means for the year, this is what we're working on
Based
in
on
this
where you
way.
could be. Based on where you could be at that time of your birthday.
Yeah, in your age.
You know what? I might try to take me a little trip just for this little experiment, just so we can
Yeah.
kind of see. And if
You'd
it
have to
don't,
take that the week of your birthday, right? And it'd have to be a place that is on a different time zone, right? So
okay.
if you're in CST, I'm in EST. We got to be over there in Bali or
Yes, I
shit.
see.
We could do New Orleans. I mean, because it'll be changed for me, but
Okay.
something at least 4 or 5 hours set, and then it'll shift around. Your
Wow.
sun sign is always going to be in Capricorn.
Yes,
That's never
yes.
going to change. But the other planets, you won't be a Virgo moon for that year. You'd
Right.
have to take on the energy of the other moon or
Because
the
we're on
other
the other
rising.
side of the earth. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
we can bring up. We'll be able to bring that up and go over that. Because right now, unless anybody's birthday just passed, like this week, like if it's gonna happen this week, I would probably wait after their birthday and then bring up their solar return chart, because then I can tell them what's gonna happen from this birthday, 2024, to the next year. Yours hasn't happened for this year. Yours happened last year.
Yes.
So you won't even be in 2024 until 2025.
Oof.
That's what happens when your birthday is later down in the year. Mine too is in August. So all of my stuff is pushed down. Like I still be in the year before energy before I'm in that one. Because technically I'm still in 2023's energy until my birthday.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So whatever that chart makeup is, and the
Yeah.
chart will again tell you your natal promise. It'll tell you if it's your Jupiter return, which is you have one coming up actually in March. When
Okay.
that means Jupiter has hit its 12-year cycle back to its home state in your natal chart.
Okay.
Usually when we have Jupiter returns, that's an indicator for marriage. If you are already in alignment, meaning you are in a serious relationship, that's already where you're headed. It's already planned. It is promised to you if you want that.
That's the wherever Jupiter. That's is that what you call the
every
promise?
12 years.
Okay.
Huh?
Did
Yeah,
you
for
call
you. Mine is later this year.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So let me answer this real quick. What would be the advantage, if any at all? You know how you said if you're in a different place, say different time zone, what different part of the country or world? It's not world because that needs to be 4 to 5 hours. So that would take me put you in a different time zone. What would be the advantage? Let's just say I went to let's say Bali, because everybody knows I want to go to Bali. If I was in Bali for my birthday, week of my birthday, how would that be an advantage to me cycle-wise to be there when shifts are changing and shifting versus staying where I am? Not necessarily in. Is there an advantage to that? What would I want? What would I get out of that?
Okay, so one of the advantages would be, so say you're coming out of a Saturn ruled year, right? So that would be your Capricorn or your Aquarius house. And that year was very difficult for you because maybe, there was some karmic retribution. There were some things that needed to be built. Also, you were born in, you have a day chart, right? So, but say if you had a chart that was at night, and the worst planet for the night chart is Saturn. So that means unless your Saturn placement in your chart is beautifully aspected, that means you're going to go through a very tight hardship based on what your natal chart has promised. So you'd say, if you anticipating that coming, because remember Capricorn and Aquarius are right next to each other, right? And you looked at your solar return for 2024 and you say, damn, that's going to be the same thing again. I can't deal with these type of lessons again, right? You can say, you know what? I'm going to be out of town for the 2 days before my birthday and 2 days after, just so I can make sure
Yeah.
when the sun hits that timing, I'm not home. Because it's going to move all the other planets around. Do
Wow.
I feel like you're escaping your karma? It's 50-50.
That's
Some
kind of
people feel like no matter what, you still have to work through it, whether it's then or when you get to it, you're gonna work through it. But some people do believe
cool.
if they spend their birthday somewhere else, they feel like the energy comes out because it does, because the time zone is different.
Okay. Okay. So one more thing. You was just talking about karma. Where in the house do you see is the karma? Where? Doesn't matter what you believe in or whatever. Is that
Oh
inside
well, the 12th house is karma.
the 12th house is karma? Okay.
Yeah, 12th house is karma.
Oh, I see
But
it
some
now.
people also look. It's actually the 12th house is karma. Because that can also be the house of past lives. That's also the house of unconscious things. That's the house of meditation, transcendence.
I see.
Again, Christ consciousness, all things spiritual. Because naturally, that's the house of Pisces,
Yeah.
ruled by Neptune. So all of that is in that house.
So this would be
Now,
the house, and that has places where you could, if there was the karma or is, if because whatever is and whatever.
karma
Yeah,
is good or
yeah,
bad.
that's right. It's good or bad. That's good or subjective.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Yeah,
subjective.
and so you
Okay.
have Jupiter there. So Jupiter is a benefic. So that's a good one.
Okay.
Great one. That's the best one. Everybody loves Jupiter, right? Everybody loves Jupiter because they know Jupiter's gonna give you, it's gonna expand, it's going to allow you to grow and change in a positive way,
I see.
right?
I see.
And
I
even
see.
if it's in reverse, it's just all of those things directed internally.
Yeah.
But everybody wants that sign because
I
it
see.
brings a great abundance of whatever it is that
I
is
see.
supposed to be promised to you.
Yeah, but it's also a space, even if you looked at it on the different aspect of not being the best or not being the worst, it's also things that you could work on that you kind of know you probably need to as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, you could.
You don't like it. Oh, you like, damn, I got to do this shit, but I knew I should have did it. I need to work. It can be that too, right?
Oh yeah,
It doesn't have
absolutely. If
to-
you don't know what you can do to expand, you can look at your Jupiter and you can try to take on more of those qualities. So maybe you
ah,
aren't as grounded as you thought you were, right? So maybe you can set up the routines for yourself because we know, and I use the word routines because I know that
yeah.
Virgo rules routines, and you
Hmm.
are a moon in Virgo. So
Okay.
you say, you know what, I haven't really been grounded enough. Let me start checking off my health list. Let me start going to this doctor and that doctor. And I chose doctor because they say Virgo rules health. Let me
That's
start
or
walking more,
or
right?
habits. Yeah,
Yes,
habits. Like
yes.
stuff without pushing that booty around the corner to the
Yeah,
gym. You decide you
yeah,
want, okay, I'm gonna work on this and do that. Okay, I got
yeah,
you, I got you. Or it
yeah,
could also, because it's health, it could also be food
yeah.
habits,
But
right?
don't forget you have the Jupiter in the 12th, so it's going to be some of those things. So related to your fourth house, maybe meditating more at home, more on
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
private life, not
Yeah.
with anybody else, or maybe
Yes.
in your immediate home, or maybe you just get, you know, a better feeling doing it in your immediate environment or on your property somewhere. It has to be
I
like on
see.
your property.
I
Yeah.
got you. Okay. Well, this has been amazing. We did good. It's just 8:34 my time now. Yeah, we're gonna try to do it. No, we're not gonna try. We're gonna do it
Oh
earlier.
no, we're gonna do it earlier next
You
time.
want
Yeah.
to? Do you want to stick with Sunday, or do you want to do it on Saturday?
We can do Saturday
You want to do
if you got
Saturday?
some names. Yeah,
Saturday,
for sure.
you should check. We check out Thursday. You let me know up in the daytime what it's going to be, and then we can
Okay, for
switch it
sure.
out.
No,
Okay.
we can do that.
Okay. Do you normally have something to do up in the daytime?
All right now. I'm single. I ain't got nothing to do.
Well, we can make it. We can make it
Oh
way
no, is that
early.
Valentine's? I ain't got nothing to do.
But if something come up, we could look for early up in the day. But if something come up, we could be flexible. I'm flexible on it. Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I'm flexible. Yeah, for
All
sure.
right. Cool.
I know for sure we're gonna start off immediately with the solar return, and I'll be going to the site
Okay.
and showing you how it looks.
Okay.
And just so you can see what I'm saying when I say the sun doesn't move, it
Okay.
stays in the sign. It
Okay.
will move the house now.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
Okay.
And I'll figure out how to get these charts where we need them to be. Guys,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, did anybody have any questions? You can, I just opened up really quick for anybody that wants to. And when I say really quick, I don't know why I said that, but does anybody have any questions? So while I'm looking at the chat, okay? If you do, go ahead and type them on. I'll let you guys have the floor for me. I looked at the other I've got it pulled up from last week, and they were just comments, but they weren't questions. So,
Okay. Okay.
if anybody have any questions, go ahead and type your question there if you want to.
Oh
And
yeah, definitely, Tanya. If you feel called to, definitely try it out. You know, that's only one way I can really say is to try it out. I've always only been home on my birthday. Um, Child, I don't know why it's not playing that way. It just be happening that way.
you know
But
what?
I,
Go ahead,
huh?
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I've never tried to have another location to do my birthday. Maybe this year I will and see. People do it. People have done it, and they've had great things happen to shift out of that
Let's see.
I'll say more difficult year, because right now, although I am in my 12th house year because of my age,
Mm-hmm.
the rising sign that is on my solar return is in my 8th house, which is a very difficult house. Which, I had to deal with my father's passing, which is the 8th house,
Yeah.
which is an inheritances, right? So when I looked at the chart originally, I'm not thinking death. I'm not thinking anything because I just don't focus on those things. But
Yeah.
after it occurred, I was able to see it. I had Pluto happening in my 9th house, which is the house of fathers.
Mm.
And I knew I was in my 8th house. That in my 8th house, that sign that's in my natal 8th house, my natal chart, was now my rising sign for my solar year. So I knew I was going to be dealing with death and rebirth. And I didn't think it would be the literal way, right?
Yes. Because sometimes it's ideas, business, transition, relationships.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. That's
It
just.
could be it could be sex. Hell, I mean, if you're lucky, if you know what I mean, it could be whatever. But it's just now that I've had those things happen,
Mm-hmm.
again, it pushed me into 12th house. So I'm like, oh Lord, because things happen, and the first thing you want to do, you want to retreat.
Yeah.
You want to retreat. So yeah,
Mm.
next lesson, y'all, I'll be able to really just kind of show you.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Look up those house themes just so you can follow along if you're
Yeah.
curious. Just so you know where we're pulling those little words from.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're getting it from the astrological house themes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to look up the second chart is just the house rulerships.
Yep.
And that just tells you the first house is going to be Aries, because that's how astrology recognizes the season's beginning.
So I was looking at my chart and I was like, okay, let me check to see where I got some freaking Pluto. Look like I got Pluto in the first house. I mean, the fourth house is what it looks
Yeah,
like.
that's a generational planet. Yeah. So everybody around your age has it in Virgo. Anybody 10 years younger than you, they have it in Libra. And then I think it's 10 to 12 years, it shifts. That planet moves that amount of time. Unless sometimes it's 20 years. It depends.
Hmm. Okay, I
If
was just
there's
checking to see where
no,
I had Pluto at.
huh?
I was just checking to see where I had some Pluto.
Oh yeah. But for
Okay.
yours in the 4th house, right?
Yeah.
Um, Besides that being a generational planet, you could have told me that you moved around a lot. I knew the move would be unexpected, and I'm only saying that because Uranus is there. So it was either like unexpected, like you clearly had no idea, or something that happened sudden and you had to leave in the middle of the night. Or if it's not somebody literally dying, it could be just a rebirth of maybe you started living in the neighborhood and you kind of watched it be gentrified or something like that. Like that was a complete like death of the area that you grew up in. Your block is not
Yeah.
gentrified, it's now Samson Street or something like that. That could have happened in your private life. Also, the sign on your 4th house is like your family, your roots. So even if it's not you, some things don't really be you. It's like your family, your immediate private life.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So things that people don't know.
I see. I see. This is so fascinating, you know?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's so multi-layered. Like it's not one way to talk about any house, and every astrologer is going to tell you something different because they see it a little bit different. They're putting
I
those
see.
pieces together different.
That's kind of like readers. Three readers could read your, and you're gonna get three different readings because it's
Yeah.
where you are in your energy right now at this
Mhm.
moment. And then some may interpret, some don't do interpretation, some do literal cards, which is so that's a whole other thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that
Mhm.
makes sense. I
Yeah.
think this is cool as shit. Okay.
Listen, these classes take for a while to learn. That's why I keep reinforcing. Look up the sign. Look at the chart. Trust me, you'll be able to follow. Once you know the keywords to use, and you're literally just picking which one you want.
Yeah.
You'll know. You'll
Yeah.
know.
Maybe one day I have to be like, keep be trying to spit the knowledge too. No, I ain't gonna not be trying.
Oh
She
yeah,
do,
Keith is really good with really telling you wholly at what the energy manifests. Let's just say, you cute and cuddly and this and that. She go in for the signs. The key to give you that kind of flow. So if you have no idea what nothing is, you just
Yeah.
have to listen. Like
Yeah.
somebody's gonna give you the piece.
Yeah. So everybody does interpret this, and I like
Yeah,
that everybody have their own style. Like I've had
Mm-hmm.
people, I had one person to do my chart for me. They gave it to me, and he didn't really explain it. And I'm like, he just gave it to me, sent it to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and even
Which
though
is the report, yeah, that most people do. But if you don't know nothing about astrology, you like, okay, what I do with this.
But
Yeah.
now what happens? I can still go back and look at it, even though it was last year.
Mhm.
I can still go back and look at some things, even
Yeah,
though.
now you can follow.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So Tanya, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for being our template. Absolutely, Tanya. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Guys, if you have not followed Sundice Astrology, please go over there and follow her. And also, guys, we know that you looked at the video on my side, but go back over to hers and like her video. And if you don't mind, at least when you're in the car driving something, play some of it because she needs that
Yes,
momentum.
please get them views up.
And if you like me, when I'm looking at Keith's lives, sometimes I'll have to look at those. I do stuff when I'm driving, like listening.
Yeah, or doing something else. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all turn on Chris's video from last week because now what's there is really her version, right? She uploaded it. So what you see there is not the one that no. What you see now is not. It is uploaded. She took
Yeah,
she took down the one that where it was mine. So go over there and like hers. We know you saw it already. Just go like it and just let it play in the background some because you get that the time she needs those hours also so that she can get the numbers that she needs, right? And leave a comment. Even if you don't leave a word in the comment, leave an emoji because that also helps her in the algorithm. I know a lot of people don't know that, but I guess because I've been doing it for a minute, I know that, right? So say, hey, y'all, leave an emoji if you like this or something like that. So y'all go over there and help our girl out, okay?
Yes, I would really appreciate it because I can't go live on my page until I have 50 subscribers. So if you know a friend, send a friend, go on and like it, create a page, follow your girl, tell somebody something.
Tell somebody, okay?
Okay.
And also,
we'll do more of this for sure.
Yeah.
But and try not to make it 2 hours. But when you talk about astrology, it don't feel that long.
Yeah.
It really don't feel that long.
And plus, too, for me, I don't have a problem with it because people. Now, I think sometimes if you check it when you are uploading your video, you can have it where it does the chapters, but it is listening for your cue in order to have it automatically done. Otherwise, you have to go in and break it down through the YouTube Studio and break it down. So that people may want to know specific thing. Maybe you put here, we talked about aspects. We put here we talked about the North Node, etc. That Boujee's North Node or whatever.
Okay.
So
I could definitely just cut it out if somebody would want me to do that. I can do that. I don't mind.
Yeah, but so when you see her new videos, go over there and like them. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. You don't have to like the ones over on my side. You can like hers because it's coming from the same place.
Yeah, and it's useful information. Even if you just learn one thing in 2 hours, just hit me that button real quick.
We're trying to help Chris out, y'all. Everybody go over there and like it. Okay.
Because listen, pretty soon you ain't gonna be able to catch me, okay? Because I'm gonna be out here. Catch me before today's price. Oh, okay, I ain't even gonna tell you now. It ain't gonna be the same. So
and you know what? And
get
that's a beautiful thing because now you have claimed. You have claimed. You know, we're excited for your ass. I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So just can you give all of us, your faithfuls, the ones that's behind your ass? Can you give us like a little tip?
Listen, right now, you know what's funny? I already set the intention. I'm doing 100 charts right now. And once I hit the 100 charts, I'm going to start shifting over to creating smaller classes. So anybody that falls in the 100 charts, you'll be able to get that nice one-on-one feel through your chart because I do offer chart readings right now. They are donation based. with a minimum fee, of course. And you pretty much have me for 45 minutes to an hour, and we're doing one-on-one. You're asking your questions. You're asking me what you need. You're saying, okay, can you tell me about this in my life and how this would transpire, how this would happen? Now, if you just don't want any of the explanation, I know some people just like to get right to the point, then, that's a different fee, and I'll just shoot you the answer. But, I mean, if you are interested in it, I don't mind teaching and
So
showing.
listen, she got 100 on mine, intentionally set. That's what's up. Okay. So I see them coming, feel them coming. I'm excited that you actually set an intention for that. So that's what's up, because before he's like, I don't really want to
yeah. Because in my mind, I'm building.
But that was just last week. Do you see how swiftly switch happened? That switch went up. Okay.
I gotta go. Because I know it's there, and instead of me mulling over it, because it's not that I don't know the information.
Yeah.
Even for myself, I you know what? I'm gonna talk about this on the next one. Maybe we need to talk about planets as well.
Okay.
I have Chiron in my 9th house, and the 9th house is the natural house for like Sagittarius, higher learning, higher education. It's God's house, right? So this learning and knowing more things is kind of like a wound, and your wound is the Chiron wound is a wound that never heals, right?
Oh,
and
shit.
So
Chiron?
We all have it.
Okay.
It's a wound that you have that it just never heals. So once you're aware that it's something that won't heal, what do? Do you cry about it, or do you just say, if I continue to be of service to others with this wound, it'll take my mind off of my own suffering? I have it in the 9th house. So as much as I really don't want to teach, in order for me to feel more accepted or accept the faith and the inspiration that I find in other things, I need to be able to teach others so they can understand it.
Oh, absolutely.
So I know where it is for me. So I'll know once I hit that 100 mark, there will be no more personal readings, because I know it's not even about the money for me. I want to teach you something, so you're literally taking away something.
Yeah. So we are actually so as teachers, we're still learning too. So you're learning. So it's not that we know everything. A lot of times I have to remember what an interpretation is of something. I have to go check it out and look at. It's not a bad thing that we do that.
Yeah, no.
We have sense enough to go and check instead of saying, I don't know, girl. But like, hold on, let me check on that. I need to go check what the interpretation of this is if I'm doing a reading or something like that. Because it's the tarot is just, maybe that motherfucker is big. Right. So sometimes I may have to go back and check on something if I don't know it by heart. But what I was going to ask you is this. When you say you get to your 100 and then you're going to start teaching, can you give us a little insight on what that would look like for the teaching modality for you? Because we're your fucking cheerleaders at this month.
Listen, so I and this is a part of, I'm not going to say who the client is, but I have this is so funny. I have a client, girl.
You gotta go out.
This is one thing about it. Like, life is just so unserious, because if you would have told me 2 weeks ago that I would be on here doing this, I would have told you, kiss my ass, because that's that Scorpio rising telling you I ain't doing nothing I don't want to do. I have a thing about being perceived.
Yeah.
Because people see the Leo sun, they're like, oh, you want to be in the attention? No, I really don't.
That's right.
I really don't. But I know that this is where my soul needs to go. My soul has something creative to share.
Yeah.
And no matter what, you can't run from the sun. Can't run from the light, right?
No.
Or we always end up going towards the highest manifestation of our sun sign.
Okay.
So the way that I'm looking at it as the 100 charts is for me to learn and expand on the houses. I know it won't be the same people, because everybody's desire of information that they want is different.
Yeah.
For you, because we obviously are sharing, your chart read a little bit. You wanted to do your year ahead, and you had a couple of specific things you wanted to know, which we discussed, and then we'll keep discussing, right?
Yeah.
And then I have another person that's telling me, hey, they want to know their year ahead, but then they have other critiques that they want to find out. And then someone else doesn't want the year ahead.
Yeah.
She wants me to tell her how she can stop with her imposter syndrome.
I see.
So the things
that's cool. That's so cool. She wants to know.
Yeah, because she knows the answer is there. She knows the answer is there.
So look at all the types of experiences through these 100 that you create. So let me ask you this: if someone within the 100, if they wanted, not I don't know if you call it a do-over, but they want to expand, you count that as your 100 because you put.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It depends if it's something completely different, right?
Oh,
If it's something completely different. So if I told you something in your first year, and I gave you some dates for something, and maybe that thing did manifest. So you come back and you say, okay, well, this did manifest to me, but now I'm feeling like this now. I no longer feel like this, and now what can I do to bring this energy and less of this? And then I would add that to the 100 and just see what else to explore, because I do want to be able to offer people more than just telling you about your career, because not everybody's gonna have a 9 to 5, and not everybody even wants to work. You may not want to work. You may want to know, you may want to know about your children because maybe you have difficulty conceiving.
Yeah.
You want to know if it's promised to you, because some natal charts don't show promise of children. Does that mean you'll never have children? No, you may not carry.
Yeah.
But that means you won't be a mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it may come through unconventional ways.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to have more to offer than just, okay, when am I find love? When am I get this money? Because there are things in your life that come. The more peace you have within, they come anyway. The love gonna come anyway.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: do you think, because this sounds so phenomenal, because we know you, right? And it sounds phenomenal that you're taking a step. Do you think that you'll do pieces like, okay, I'm going to talk about some things that I have kind of, I had some clients come to me, and some of these charts, these are some things that you guys that you may find funny, without naming people, you know what I'm saying? Just something that will help you to grow, help us to grow.
Absolutely.
Because that'd be like,
I'm absolutely telling their business. Absolutely. Absolutely, I'm telling you business. No, I'm just playing. If it's nothing that's like nothing trauma based, of course.
Yes, absolutely not.
But if it's something funny,
yeah,
I'm sure.
About that kind of stuff. Because I think those would make great videos on your channel, because you're funny as hell anyway. You know what I mean? Then the way you deliver shit, that shit would be cool as hell. Like,
I would definitely do that. I would definitely. You just cut off the, their birth information, of course. You don't want to share that. But you just be like, let me show you how this person done did, For sure. But you gotta make it fun, man. There's a lot of terminology in astrology to learn, and it can be overwhelming if you say it is, right? I learned a long time ago you gotta trick your mind into saying that things are easy for you to approach it easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I'm open to doing all of that. I'm setting that one broad thing because I have no expectations of where it's gonna go. I have no damn clue, to be honest. I don't have a clue. But I have to keep pushing and set a realistic short-term goal and have something to reach. And then when I get there, I'm sure some ideas and some things are going to come to me to where it will manifest in a way that I couldn't even conceive.
That's right.
So I just wanted to start somewhere. And the 100 charts it's the first thing that came to me. It's like, you need to do at least 100 charts. And that's just also to solidify me to shift out of calling myself, an astrology enthusiast, because again, I'm a Virgo moon, y'all. I am very, very critical of myself, and it could be crippling if I let it run wild. Because
that's true.
The moon is also like your intuition. You could play tricks on your own mind. Well, you be right, but you're looking for the external confirmation, like, and it comes from the parent too. Because I still deal with that with my mom. Like, I'll tell her something, and I know that I'm right. Like I already seen it happen. Like, and I'll tell her, and she's like, "Oh, well, how do you know?" And then a couple days later, she'll be like, "Oh, I guess you were right. Oh, I knew I was right. Oh, I know." But it's like those things happen when somebody constantly puts you in that space of you questioning yourself.
Yes.
That's what happens. That's how I always know when I see certain signs. I'm like, oh, there was a disconnect because I experienced it. So I already know. Yeah. Now, whether you acknowledged it, that's something different, because some people don't acknowledge their parents, whatever they knew at that moment to be right or just for the way that they raised you, to not have been beneficial to you. Not wrong. It's something, I'm not going to call it wrong. It just wasn't beneficial because it was just what they learned, and that shit wasn't right.
Right.
Yeah. You know how it is.
Well, of course.
My mother did this and my grandma did this. Yeah, and they didn't know any damn better either.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's just, Yeah, I think that's so cool. And I think it's the way you get to know people and the
Oh
way
yeah,
you like,
I
thank
told you
you.
I place everybody in my mind in the chart space because I know my energy. So when I meet
Did you
you,
chart me? Did you chart me?
of course, well, once I saw you, right? Once I saw like your chart, it answered the question like when we were in Jamaica, and I felt like when you touched me, I felt like instantly calm, instantly soothed. Look at all the placements you have in the fourth house. That's the natal house of Cancer. It's very, very motherly, like overwhelming.
Yes.
So it's like when you feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just want to cry. I do
Okay.
it everybody though. What if even if I only know your sun sign, I told you
Yeah,
that's the easiest way. Drop that sign in them houses, and I guarantee you that person is going to illuminate something about that house to you.
I
Now,
see.
if you guys don't match up, they probably burnt you out because maybe one of your planets touched their sun. But
Mm,
Scorpios always give me great ideology because it's my first house. Sagittarius, if it's a man, he gonna give me some money because it go in my second house.
right. Yeah.
It's that damn simple. It really is. It's
You know
simple.
what? You make it
Nothing you
seem so
think it
like
is.
for real, but it is like you said,
It
it
is.
is always right.
Mhm. So people say, "Oh, you're out of alignment." You just go against what you feel like is free will and what you feel like is destined. Because I have heard astrologers say that there are some houses
Yeah.
that are free willed and some are fated. I
Mm,
don't know if it's true or not. Because to me, I feel like a lot of shit I really can't pinpoint.
yeah.
Because the astrologers tell me this is gonna happen, and they're never right.
Mm,
Also, don't forget like your moon sign that rules your intuition, right?
yeah.
And so we have it in Virgo, and Virgo is the only human in the zodiac. It's the only woman. So it's the only. I'm not gonna say none of the other moon signs because each moon sign, if it's water, is very intuitive. It takes on the element of what it's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ours is in Earth. It's very grounded. The more
Mm-hmm.
grounded you are, the stronger your intuition. Ours
That's
is in Virgo. We get gut into intuitive nudges,
bubble
right?
guts, baby. They be bubbling the
Yeah. And
butterflies. Yeah.
so you know from long before, but it's usually a female figure. It doesn't have to be a mom, but it's
Yeah.
usually the mother.
Yeah.
Create some type of disconnect from your intuition, and it
Mhm.
makes you question everything. And so it just pulls on the paranoia, right? If you have Scorpio places, which I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I explain to people, they're like, "Oh, you're like I know, like I know me to the point where it's like I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been a lot of people in
Yeah.
this life. I'm gonna say that much. I've been a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It's
I've been a
okay.
lot of people.
And apparently we're going to be at least 12 of them at points in our
Yeah,
life.
that's what people say. You can't be mad at a sign because you were once that sign a year in your life, and you're gonna keep tapping into that sign because you
Yeah.
need those qualities.
Yeah. Well, that's
You
cool.
need those qualities.
I like that. I like that you're going to be some of everything. And I don't know much about them, and I never really said, well, I don't know about it because Zodiac say this. I'd be like, well, how do they know this? So this means that I can't even chill with them? Like, I would be like that. Like, fuck that.
Oh
I'm chill. But that's what, some
no,
people,
that's what they go. A lot of it is nowadays it's just satire. To make a
yeah,
joke or to
yeah,
be
it's that
funny,
time. Yeah,
or just take on. They highlight very negative qualities.
yeah, yeah,
So a lot of times if I read it, I'm like, this ain't even fucking me. But it doesn't mean that it don't still relate to the sign. It could be the lower qualities of the sign.
right.
Again, like I'm a Leo sun. The first thing people say is Leo, oh, you're attention seeking. But if you look at my page, you're like, bitch, is a real person? Because she really don't ever have no video. Like, because you're thinking the one thing about the
Mm,
one sign. And it's not like that. Because it
that's
depends on their rising. It depends on how their emotional development was. All of those things matter.
yeah, I agree. Well, we're gonna learn today next
Oh
time as
yeah,
well. Okay. So yeah, we'll be back with part 3. We might
3
have
and probably 4, y'all.
yeah, probably. And listen, I tell you
Okay.
what's a beautiful thing about it is that the flow, the
Yeah.
comfortability. Chris is very easy to talk to, and I just love me some Chris because I want her to be who she is. Nigga, shine your
We're
motherfucking
working on
light,
it.
okay?
We
And
were
this
look, we working on it. We was moving fast too, though.
it is so because just last
Moving
week it
fast.
was like, no, bitch, we're not, no, okay,
We gonna see.
we gonna
But
see that.
that's that fixed nature. That's that fixed sign in my first house and fixed sign in my 10th house. I got to be pushed out of it. Because if I don't, I'd be like, I ain't really. I don't work well with change. So
What do you feel like when I was like, okay, can you do this? And then I was like, what about going live? Did it feel, because I know I have the tendency to, what did you think about this? And I do push, but it's not aggressively. I don't mean to do it. It's just like, it's like I can foresee their potential, right?
Mhm.
So did you feel like did it feel pushed when I was?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Once I saw that you was a Virgo moon, I instantly just trust you and
Okay.
trust your judgment because I trust my own judgment. So
Yeah.
I just took it as that, and not saying if anybody's any other sign, moon,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
saying that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
because I am the sign myself and I know that's a highly ruled intuitive sign, I
Yeah. Yeah.
trusted what you said.
Yeah. And you've been fucking it up. Okay. It's been a beautiful motherfucking thing.
Yeah,
We
I
gonna
trust.
learn. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you for stepping out there. It's been beautiful. Like and you know what? I don't know if you're comfortable or not, but you come across so comfortable. You know?
I'm chilling, man.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
chilling.
like you're on autopilot over there. And it's a beautiful thing because it allows you, when you're comfortable or you're chilling, it allows you to get the information out. And
Yeah.
questions that we have and that we thought about, you just like flow right through. You just flowing, you know? Well,
And
thank
if I
you.
don't, I always go and get the answer for you. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna pretend like I know everything. I don't. I
Yeah.
mean, Virgo isn't. I am a self-proclaimed know-it-all, but I don't know everything. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. That's all we got. Okay. Let's see time. Okay. Shine. That's right, Key. She gonna shine. She gonna shine this time, next time, and all.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Oh,
you
and
get?
if you guys don't have your birth time, you can get with Boujee, you can get with Cosmic Key Oracle, you can get with Trust Cosmic Channel. Any of those lovely healers, they can help you out with getting your time of birth. So you have to check them out for any services that you can use. If not, then use 12 p.m. It won't be accurate. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I do push Tanya. Yeah, I do. But I don't think it's
It's
just
good though.
it's got to be like y'all's team, my team, and I just accept I accept the challenge
Oh yeah.
to just kind of suggest in a very loving way. You know what I mean?
But you know what? It's not even pushing. You know why? Because this has been happening for like over a year. Because they be like, oh, just do what you love astrology. I'm like, not yet, not yet. I'm still working. They're like, bitch, you playing. Because all right.
Okay.
How about you
Okay.
learn while you doing it? How about you do this while you, okay, I'm like, all right. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Right. Would you go over there and tell her you want to read it? We know what you're going to tell her. Go on, do it. You know, you like,
Listen, it comes, it's been coming out for so long. Because
yeah.
even if anybody is new here, some of the members do host different retreats, and we went on our first one. We went to Jamaica. I think it was about like 18, 20 of us, something like that. It was a big, nice group.
It's 21 to 26, something like that.
It was a big group.
It was big.
It was a big group.
It was
And
amazing.
yeah, we all have our healing times where we come together and do different things. And one of the messages that I received from Trust Cosmic Channel was to let go of the mask. Now, in that moment, I was having a whole fucking fit about it. I don't even remember what it was, what it was, because Spirit don't give a fuck about none of that extra shit you got going on. None of your human emotions and this and that, and I'm ashamed, and I don't really know why I was so upset about it.
Yeah.
But later on, it was like, oh my gosh, she's not lying. Like, oh my God, I do be doing that because I'm so used to being the Scorpio, that first house. I'm so used to protecting myself, being extremely paranoid,
and you're good at that, baby. You have mastered
it's
that.
second nature for me. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you have to have those qualities, right? Because you can't be overly trusting to everyone. But it's like you don't have to move like that with everybody and everything because it's a hindrance now.
Yeah.
So what you needed when you were growing up or in certain aspects of your life, it can't keep hindering you. You gotta let that low shit go, and then you gotta go to the higher octave.
Yeah.
So a huge part of that is being spiritual and is being connected and using that intuition, to your advantage. So yeah, man, y'all gotta check that out. Check out the retreats. Check out everybody's different services. I think each of us are at least linked to one another on our Instagrams or some type of way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and this little family, we just growing in what we're doing and elevating. It's a beautiful thing because we allow each other to do our own thing, and everybody do at their own pace. And you don't have to be on the same page about everything all the time, or even sometime. But you're gonna be in that book in
Yeah.
that chapter somewhere. You don't have to be on the same page because it's inevitable,
Yeah.
some of us. But it's beautiful. All right, sis. We'll get a time and we'll figure this out for next week. We'll do it on a Saturday, y'all, next week, but earlier up in the
Yeah,
daytime.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah. All right. All right. We are.
All right, you guys. Thank you for
Okay,
coming
we'll
through.
talk to you later. I'm going to
All
holler
right.
at you offline. Okay.
All righty. All
All
right.
right. Talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Evening.
All right.